everybody I'm back in the game. This is my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, 'cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to America's home for racing, the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, well, actually just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Concord area, the Queen City. And we are getting ready to go here for the next round. It is round number 10. We welcome you to the Charlotte 200 here for round number 10 of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. I'm Wesley Outland. We have got Samuel Dyer joining us. Justin Prince will be along as well. Samuel, have you recovered from the Indy 500 last night, my friend? What an honor for the Major Series. We had all three of us to call that event.
Oh, it took me all day to finally recover from that. And honestly, it's a pleasure to be up in the booth for the Northwest Cup Series. Been a while since I've been here for this, but man, that race yesterday, it was so much fun to cover the full-length Indy 500. And the Major Series, they did it again. That Sportsman Split 1. What a great finish it was.
Of course, Mr. Fuel Man, Jay Shallington picking up the win. And we are, of course, looking forward. And this should be a good race tonight. Not taking anything away from the Indy 500 yesterday, but we love coming to Charlotte. The truck race provided an awesome race the other night, Samuel, and now the Cup cars are going to be here, and this should be a good time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as they get ready to go for round 10 of the year.
Yeah, I mean, talking about, fuel strategy, that could be a factor here tonight. 134 laps for these drivers here, and that's going to be a thing that Charlotte brings a factor of a little bit of discipline on fuel mileage and tire wear, which we're going to see both factors thrown out here tonight. That's going to be a big thing I'm excited for, especially in these next-gen cars.
Well, let's go ahead and set the stage for you. Here is your race information for tonight. 134 laps on a 1.5-mile track is 200 miles. Of course, lap 67 will be halfway, 100 miles. 58 to 62 laps on fuel. There's one fast repair given in this series. 2 attempts at a green-white checker if necessary, Samuel. And, of course, the right front tire could cause issues is what we have been finding out along the way in practice since last night and today in preparation for this race here tonight.
Yeah, that right front really is going to be testing these drivers on how tight they're going to be getting in this corner, especially on the exit of the corners for these drivers. You're going to see a lot of everyone testing one another, side-by-side racing. At some point, it's going to single file out, but then later on in the run, that's when we expect to see the drivers that were saving their tires get aggressive. Those were too overzealous in the beginning, really starting to falter back, and that's the fun mind games and chess match that happens on track that we get to these intermediate 1.5-mile courses.
Let's take a look at the caution. I'm sorry, the keys to victory, the caution. The keys to victory, the caution. These are the keys to victory to avoid caution. Let's see here. We got 3. Protect the right front tire as you only have 3 extra sets that are in the pit area. And then, Samuel, you got your 2 down there on the bottom, which I think they make a lot more sense than the tire deal.
Yeah, and that's going to be, it's a fixed setup, very tight. Like we were talking about, that right front tire is going to be the big thing to watch out for. When you're tight, that means the car does not want to turn, which means you have to turn the wheel more for your car, which just puts all the pressure on that front right, which when a car is tight, that wall is going to be the place where drivers are going to be very trying to avoid themselves and slamming on the exit of turn 2 and turn 4. As well as avoiding wheel spin on the restarts. It's been a factor in all the different series here in the Northwest. Wheel spin on these restarts, especially at the start of these races when they're cold tires or when they get new tires and they're still cold. That's when the drivers can make a lot of mistakes. So they're hoping that they don't make that here tonight.
And now let's go to the bottom right of the monitor and take a look at your weather conditions as this race is going into nightfall. It'll be in darkness at the end of this event. Of course, sim time, 85 degrees temp is the air temp, ambient temperature. Wind speed at 13 miles an hour. We're going to keep an eye on that, especially for the trucks as they work their tailgates down the back straightaway. Justin, the wind's going to be definitely interesting for the Cup cars. I'm sorry. We saw the turbulence in the truck race the other night. We'll see what these Cup cars provide. And for the track temperature, it is comfortable at 86 degrees, just like the ambient temperature. And of course, I believe, Samuel, as we move closer and closer into the night, even though the cars are on the track, the temperatures will drop as well.
Yeah, the temperatures should drop about 2 to 3 degrees with the fact that we're starting to already see the sun setting now on this track, and it's not the sun beaming on this course. So not only should drop about 1 or 2 degrees, but it's still a very nice temperature, 85, 86 for the drivers going to be here for qualifying. So they're certainly going to be having a good amount of grip for qualifying aspect. But yeah, we'll have to take a look at the weather again once we get to racing and gridding action, because then that's going to give us a better cue of how the drivers are going to start this race and how much the wiggle room they have on that temperature.
Of the 9 races so far, there have been 5 different winners. 3 wins on the season for, of course, Lake Peterson. Caden Anderson has 2. Cole Raz has 2 wins as well. Super Friends, as Justin calls them. Sean Brightsman with a single, as well as Dan West Jr. with a win also. Take a look at the point standings going into this event as well, or I'll just call them out to you. Brian Barnes, Samuel, has a 9-point lead over Cole Raz. You have, of course, 19 points back is Sean Brightsman. Lake Peterson is 30 points back. Caden Anderson with a couple of wins, 32 points back. And that's in the top 5, along with Lake Peterson, Daniel Anderson as well. And I will also tell you that Dan West Jr., who won obviously earlier in the year, Ryan Bloom, Briar Reynolds, Tristan Wood, Kenneth Garber, all these guys, Samuel, are in the top 10. They're only separated in total by looking at the top 10 by just 74 points. And this is only the 10th round of the season. There's still a lot of racing left to go. Still about 15 weeks left to go until the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the big thing. There's still a lot of times to gain points if you're outside of the playoff window, and also to lose points to get knocked out if you're already in. So drivers are understanding, yes, this is race number 10 of the regular season, but there's still a lot of ground that can be made or lost in a blink of an eye. So drivers recognizing it is good to have some consistent runs, which I got to say, Barnes certainly is the one that's been doing that the best this season.
I don't want to fret anybody, but I do want to let you know, just as a courtesy, there is a lot of severe weather that is in my location and possibly also in Wichita Falls, Texas, where the live sim racing production studios are. So if there is any type of technical error, it is because of the weather. I just want to put that out there right now. And as you said, up there in California, on your neck of the woods in the Pacific Northwest, Samuel, our part of the U.S. has been hit by weather, pummeled the last week and a half, it seems.
Yeah, over there it's been absolutely destroyed by weather. Over here it's been a very nice 70 to 80 degrees sunny weather in California. It's been very nice for myself over here.
They always say it never rains in Southern California. Here, by the way, if you're looking to become a partner with LSRTV, we're looking for sponsors. Yes, just like the CRN One to Go, or of course, we're looking for sponsorship in the keys to the race, these top 5 on the screen before commercial. Also, of course, the weather conditions, keys to victory, race analysis, caution summary recap, and so much more. As we continue to expand and grow into our new decade of being your home for sim racing, we want you to join us as a partner, not a sponsor, but as a partner. And if you're interested in this 2022 season, message us on Facebook for more information today. And after last night's broadcast, Samuel, why would you not want to become a partner of the leader of sim race broadcasting, LSRTV?
I mean, after every majors, it's always a great thing to be a part of and seeing how it's going to grow each and every week. And also our weekly races like tonight, the Northwest Cup Series. This is going to be a good one. I cannot wait to see how this one goes down.
Qualifying is done. The starting lineup is set. As remember, they qualified before we came on the air. Let's give you your starting lineup. He's looking for his third win this year to try to tie Lake Peterson. The driver of Lake Oswego, Oregon's Cole Raz on the pole. Casey Garber, Kenneth Garber on the outside. Good qualifying run. Row number 2 will find Yakima, Washington's Caden Anderson, two-time defending truck champion, 1 win this year for Shelton, Washington, and Dan West Jr. Row number 3, James Vining, the Catman, is back. And, of course, the 2020 champion, of course, Tucson, Arizona, Sean Brightsman in 46. Row 4, Kevin Smith in the 00 from Hermiston, Washington, and the Billings, Montana native of Jeff Stabnow in 24. Row number 5, top 10, Stephen O'Hare in 41. Robert Gamble, the 54, your top 10.
Then going to be in row number 6, going to be that of Tristan Wood, as well as John Ottbacher in that 89 machine. Dan Lowther going to be starting row number 7, as well as that of Brett Johnson in the 7. And with row number 8, we got that of Troy Daggett and that of Brian Reynolds in the 12. Row 9 going to be bringing that of Brian Barnes, our points leader, with that of Chris White, last season's Cup champion, as well as finishing out our top 20. It's Toby Ritters and Stephen Paulson.
Row number 11 will find Bryce Beatty in the 70 to the outside. It's good to see BJ Duval. He's ready to go. In the number Outlaw 85, row number 12, 2021 ARCA Northwest champion Ryan Bloom. Bruce Lee Weaver in the number 40. Row number 13, Alex Tuna, the 16, Casey Duncan in the 17. He's been really good the last couple of weeks. Chris Camary in the 15, Gary Nichols in the 8, and your top 30, along with Vinnie McDonald in 43. Carl Burke got himself a top 3 finish in the Majors Indy 500 last night. Samuel, he'll start 30th.
Yeah, in our last 4 rows, these are the drivers that did not qualify. Dennis Moore, Aaron Cooper going to be row number 16. 17 is going to be Ron Hunter, with that of BJ Tidrick going to be on the outside of row 17. 18 is going to be Frank Harris and Tyler Kim. And riding shotgun going to be in row number 19 is Dana Rogers.
And that is your starting lineup. Remember, this race is 200 miles, 134 laps. We will be joined by Justin Prince very soon here at America's Home for Racing. I love Charlotte Motor Speedway. I've announced it, Charlotte Motor Speedway, on several occasions. We love this facility. Strap in, hang on tight. Round 10, Northwest Cups, ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. We are underway. Green flag, Cole Raz, whole shot into turn number 1.
Cole Raz, Caden Anderson going to be your front 2. The Super Friends are doing exactly what they have been doing for most of the season, being up front, looking fast. Casey Garber, though, in 3rd, single filing out. This is when those mind games start out, Wesley, of do you want to push now or push later?
That is the question. When do you make your move? You've still got a long way to go in this race for the most part. These 37 cars stay in line, tucked nose to tail. No one jumping. Raz, Anderson, Garber, Weston, Vining, top 5. We're in the opening go. It's right now 3 miles in when they come to the start-finish line, but they're on the back stretch with Raz leading the 3.
And Raz, Caden Anderson, they're just going to stay in line. Right now, it's just a teammate defensive move for the drivers that are up front, but it's going to be Casey Garber. He's going to have to figure out how he wants to make these passes, but he's under pressure with that of Dan West Jr. across the line. Raz leading lap number 2.
Into turn number 1 and 2, here comes now West. And that's the driver in the top 4 right now. Well, look at Brett Johnson. He had an issue. He came to the pits early in the Coca-Cola number 7. Speaking of Coca-Cola, Samuel, I want to emphasize on that as he gets sideways coming off of the corner. The 7 car, he's down below the apron. Still no caution on the 7. But Samuel, we were talking about Coca-Cola, the World 600. It's coming up, obviously, in 2 weeks on May the 29th, Memorial Day weekend, just like the 106th Indy 500, who we mimicked last night here for the Major Series, but also the Major Series on June the 26th, a month after close to, will have their own 600-mile, 400-lap battle here in Charlotte with the 87 Cup cars. That is the Ford Thunderbirds and the Chevrolet Monte Carlos.
Those are a handful to drive, and that's going to be a fun race for the full length 600 miles. That's going to be a fun one, the Majors again. each and every 3 weeks. The big races come out, and it's always a pleasure to watch. As right now up front, do want to give note on the 7, that of Johnson. Johnson got loose out of 4 2 laps ago, and then you saw again loose out of 2. Just continues to overheat those tires, but luckily we stay green. He's going to be back mired in 37th position. Still a long race, but you never know what a yellow could strike.
And I also want to let everyone know we are on the Community Radio Network. I think we were so excited about the TV coverage and what we did last night with the major series. We forgot to mention we're also on the 87.5 WCRN FM and the Community Radio Network. And I'm understanding our producers got something special for us. What have you got lined up on board camera? This is with Will Duvall.
Oh my goodness. We have VR headsets showing. That is Will Duvall's VR. That is what we're seeing on the onboard. That is exactly what Will Duvall is seeing right now on his screen. When you're in a VR system, it gives you a little bit more of a depth of field. You can look around a lot more. And that is exactly what Will Duvall sees.
How in the world did Charles pull that off? That is like literally hacked into his VR headset. Make sure you got it plugged in this time. Don't let it go black on you.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we see every detail as well. I mean, we see everything that's on his screen. And oh boy, a little bit of shuffle ahead of him though.
And they're about to go 3 wide as Duvall hugged the bottom. Lap car up on the outside as Ryan Bloom was trying to get by him. This is going on in, wow, holy cow. Look,
back at
this
20th.
is so cool. It's in the top 20.
Trying to stay in the top 20. You can see there's a lot more of a gap further ahead as the leaders, a lot more spaced out in between one another, but Will Duvall, he's going to be moving that head all over the place, trying to make sure that he is clear, getting underneath that of Ryan Bloom and trying to set up to get past our points leader.
Samuel, there goes the popsicle machine of Brian Barnes. As you just mentioned, the popsicle, the number 4, he is the points leader. I love popsicles as a kid. I just think it's really cool he sponsors his race car.
Oh, they're so good, especially now with summer right around the corner.
What's your favorite flavor?
Ooh, popsicles-wise? It's been so long since I've had a popsicle.
I would have to say cherry. I would have to say cherry.
I think I was back when I was eating them. I think chocolate was mine.
Chocolate, there you go. Cherries, fruit flavors, vanilla, orange cream. All right, I'm getting hungry. Here we go. Back at turn number 1 and 2. By the way, thanks to Will Duvall and his Toyota number 85, he provided the Outlaw spec cameras for the static shots of the Majors Indy 500. And I don't want to keep going on about but Samuel, just so many great things that were done in that production last night, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I know you like the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. We normally cover Cup and Truck. We started doing this Crown Jewel Wednesday night late model stock series, but a novelty was the Indy 500. And if you just check it out, I'm telling you, check it out.
I mean, it took you 90 days to hype up that race. It's probably going to take you 90 days to finally get over for a quick second.
We're going to get to Charlotte.
As we're watching Stephen O'Hare. Yeah, we're already here. Stephen O'Hare. This is the battle for 10th place. Got Robert Gamble as well as John Ottenbacher hounding on the Beaver State machine.
And by the way, I just want to say something, Samuel, in regards to that green number 89. He is in a Ford from Billings, Montana, along with Jeff Stabnow. I don't know why for the longest time I thought he was from Concord, North Carolina, but I finally figured it out. Samuel, I've got a friend of mine in racing who is actually named John Ottenbacher, as we're riding on board with him right now in 11th. His name is John Ottenbacher. It's spelled exactly the same way, but the driver of Northwest, is from Billings, Montana. And I told him I'd never butcher it again.
You know, see, there are so many drivers and people with the same names. I get such twitched up with some friends of mine as well, so it is a normal thing. And also John Ottenbacher, what a unique name. And you wouldn't think that it would be matched exactly the same as someone else.
13 laps completed here this time by. Samuel Dyer is alongside. Justin Prince is here. We'll figure out a way to pull it off, and we got a caution. Caution out for the first time in Charlotte. Samuel, you saw it break loose on the back straightaway.
It's going to be Chris Camary talking about our keys of victory. Getting tight, that outside wall, and that is what bit the 15, but you can see the aftermath, the carnage of the 15. And here's our Pulse Poppers instant replay. Around that group that we were talking about with BG Duvall, and also seeing our points leader. Watch the 15 here. It's going to be going through the corner on the outside, thinking is clean and green and doing well, but we're 14 laps into this run. The tires are not the same as they were 5 laps ago, just up in the outside wall, nowhere to go, and keeps in the outside wall and then gets spun around.
Caution out, Chris Camary in the number 15 down the back straightaway. Samuel, we're 14 laps into this race. Do you see anybody come to the pit road?
I think if we had an extra set on top of the 3 that's already in pit road, I would see a lot more drivers think about coming into pit road. But we only have 3 extra sets. This is a little bit too early for my liking if you're going to waste one of those sets. If we were maybe 30 laps into this run, then I would say we'd see a lot more drivers coming in for tires. But we do still have some takers being led by that is Sean Breitzman.
And here comes now Camary's car onto the pit lane. Sean Breitzman is onto the pit lane. Briar Reynolds is onto the pit lane. That's Troy Daggett. My apologies. Flip-flop the numbers. I'm dyslexic there for a second. Brian Barnes is coming in. Dan Lowther is coming in. And they're having some early takers in the back of at least the top 20 pitting now, Samuel. That was something we weren't thinking we'd see. But, I mean, what do they got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of them coming in just for damage repair and fuel, just so if they need to stretch this run out a little bit further, potentially turn this race into a one-stop, it will now be possible to try to go for that type of a run. You're going to need a little bit more help than that, but the majority of these drivers, I'm not surprised that are further back. Hey, let's try something different. Let's go for some fuel and then get ourselves out there. There was one driver, though, that did take tires. That's Brian Reynolds. He's going to be in 30th. He's going to be our control vehicle. 14-lap difference. How well will the 12 be able to fly through this field, or will he stall out pretty quickly?
Don't forget, the Northwest Truck Series is back in action this upcoming Thursday night. Of course, Samuel Dyer usually joins me on the truck play-by-play coverage on Thursday night. We are at Texas Motor Speedway, and then Samuel will be back with the Cup cars next Monday night at Texas. Then we take a nice little break. We have a break off for 4th of July. Then we come back for a race, a week off, a race, a week off. Then the sprint goes into 4th of July, and then on 4th of July, when we come back, we go for like an 8-week stretch of racing for the Cup and the Truck Series.
It's a good stretch of just lots of racing to be seen here on LSRTV and get to see these Northwest drivers and their talent on the sim and how well they can fly around this course. I mean, that's the one thing I'm loving about that long stretch that we're going to be going into later on in this season. It's the fact that all the tracks are so different from what we have been seeing so far this season. That's the one thing I'm most excited about on how the Cups and the truck drivers are going to handle it.
Yeah, last week we were at Coda, and of course we saw sheer domination by the driver of Lake Peterson, another performance by him. And now we watch these drivers settle in here for the restart. Cole Raz. Understanding there's some connection issues possibly on the Catman. James Vining, the Seahawk of the 333, the Catman. Hello, Jacob Young. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Oh, I get so tired of all of those other comments in the chat box. Thank you so much, Ritter's family. We appreciate them, but yeah, thank you. We are getting ready for the restart here. Hey, we did it last night. We'll do it again with you. Hashtag LSRTV. Tweet your seat. However, Samuel, you're not getting a picture for me tonight because we're not on camera. You don't know what I look like.
Yeah, and as we're getting ready to go green, there was a little bit of complications I'll give updates on as we're green, Wesley.
Green flag back out. There'll be lap 16 completed. Lap 17 we're working on. And we're back underway with now Raz, Anderson, Garber, 1, 2, and 3. Complications you were talking about on turn 2.
Yeah, under pacing, there was contact between Tyler Kim and Carl Burke, and Carl Burke had to come into pit road. Too much damage for the 53. He is out of this race, our first official DNF. And now internet issues officially have bumped out. The Catman 333 is as well out. We'll wait and see if James Vining can get back into the session, but disappointment for Carl Burke and Vining.
Yeah, that's heartbreak for Carl Burke, especially after a top 3 podium run last night in the Major Series American Sportsman Circuit Indy 500 we covered here on iRacing on LSRTV. A 3rd place podium. Man's really was so excited. High hopes going into tonight's race here at Charlotte. Hate that for the driver. And here's what's happened to Carl Burke. Watch on the replay here. Our camera production crew have tracked it down. Charles Wooten. And watch this now, Samuel. You were talking about it.
Yeah, Carl Burke, Tyler Kim, both going to be just riding right now. But then Kim just under the wrong understanding of what was happening, runs into the 53. That was the last incident of Carl Burke, and then he decides to come to pit road and call it a night. Just frustrations under this first yellow. I know a lot of drivers did not like the way that that incident happened, and obviously for Carl Burke, he's done. Kim, he's still out on track in 24th position.
So a little frustration there as this race rolls into the 20 laps in as they work through the Toyota restart zone. Back to start finish line. Something else we talked about when we came on the air with now 114 remaining next time by. There will be a transition from day into night. This race will finish under the lights. It'll be in darkness. And Samuel, that's something that we'll watch not only for the handling on these cars, but also the track conditions itself.
Yeah, the track conditions should cool off about a degree or two at this point of this race. So the driver's going to get a little bit more grip. It's going to help with that tightness that the drivers have been talking about. But here is Jeff Stab now. Thinking about getting a little bit aggressive for the 24. Saw that aggression back on Thursday in the trucks. See if Jeff Stab now wants to start moving even further ahead than his 5th place position currently.
Holding on to that spot, the driver out of Billings, Montana. Led some laps in the truck race the other night. Here in Charlotte, by the way, he has won here at Charlotte. It was back in 2020 when he did it, around May of this time, 2020. And you think, Samuel, and I know you cover the trucks mostly. We have Justin on Cup and Greg Rentz over the years. You think of this series and you think of Samuel, you think of Jeff Stab now. He's due. Okay, let's be honest. He went midway through 2020 on a slump. He went all last year on Northwest Cup and truck, not winning. The only checkered flag you would say he got was in a Northwest ARCA competition event in last year at Iowa Speedway. He was excited about that win, Samuel, but he's like, man, I want to win with the big boys again.
Yeah, that Iowa race really put some more excitement in for Jeff Stab now. That kind of put that motivation of, I want to get back into victory lane. It's just been tough. I mean, there's a lot of competition out here that has been looking very strong, as we are going to be having another issue further back. This is Bryce Beatty, who gets into the outside wall and looks like also the inside wall based on that left side damage.
Holds it together, Bryce Beatty. His Chevrolet machine stays to the bottom of the racetrack. On the racing groove, he's going to come onto the pit lane. He will keep the caution from not falling for the second time, but that beaten, battered, bang passenger side, number 70 Chevrolet, coming to the attention of his crew. You got to think, Sammy D, he's coming for a fast repair around lap 25.
That is, and I was re-looking at that incident, and for the 70 machine, he actually did not touch anything, just got extremely loose, too much damage, comes into pit road, and is going to be, most likely, I was expecting him to think about using that fast repair. Thinks not. Beatty is done. He's out of this race. Other updates, James Vining is back on the racing surface, but Wesley on screen, our biggest mover so far, it's Dennis Moore.
Dennis Moore, the 44, his Chevrolet Camaro, now making a move on Chris White. Look at Chris White, Samuel. He's changed up the wrap job on his car, his Toyota, the defending Cup champion of last year.
Yeah, Chris White coming out here with a different scheme, and you know, why not put on the happy birthday scheme that he's got on there. Certainly for the 6, it is it's a very colorful. You can tell by the pink, and right now running well up in that 9th place position.
Certainly is, and happy birthday there for Chris, I believe, celebrating a birthday as they work their way back off into the corner. Here comes Toby. Man, I'm telling you, Samuel, Clifford, I know you follow him on the truck series, but on Cup and Truck, he's one of those guys that if we had a Rookie of the Year contender program, that would be last year. He's moved up into the sophomore season, and it shows as he's getting better and better. And if you look on the bottom right of our broadcast, you can see Toby Ritters. He's got the VR headset. You're on board with him. You might not be able to go inside the headset like with Will Duvall, but you can see how he's willing and dealing that steering wheel in 3.
Yeah, you still get the VR headset on, but also you can tell on the monitor, you can show also a little bit of what he's got going on and focusing on how he's going through this corner. Really can watch those hands. On the entry of into turn number 1, you can see how much they have to turn just a little bit to make sure they can get through these corners. But right now, got to give credit to Toby Ritters. Strong run, 12th place for himself currently.
That's the way they stand right now as they work their way back across the start-finish line. And there you see into turn number 3, another lap in. Look at Ritters working his way, trying to close in on Billings, Montana. John Ottenbacher. Get some company there, excuse me, coming through. And that's getting a little antsy. Woods trying to clear those cars back to turn 1.
Yeah, Tristan Woods, certainly for that of the 57, certainly trying to find a little bit of extra speed for himself. He's shown qualifying speeds, mile-and-a-half courses already this season. And right now for Woods, currently hovering in that 10th place position, but going high, trying something different here. It's a little bit too fast in that corner, and John Ottenbacher's going to capitalize on it.
Round number 10 here for the series. They're working now 30 laps into this race. We're working lap 31. Raz, Anderson, Garver, West, Stabnow, your top 5. Tristan Wood up the racetrack now, trying to clear Ottenbacher, but he's also got Ritters to deal with, and Bloom is coming as they come up. Also Duval in turn 3.
And as we're watching this action right now, Tommy Ritters, oh no, then to Wood, as they're going to get more contact, and Ryan Bloom able to capitalize on the high side. Getting a little bit overzealous are these drivers in this moment right now. But as action's happening, Wesley, a little bit of a scare for our leader, Cole Raz. James Vining got back onto the racing surface, almost clobbered the 10.
A little bit of contact. They hold it together down the back straightaway. They move down to turn number 3. We'll be joined very soon by our also colleague, Justin Prince. When that happens, we'll put me and Justin up in the booth. Samuel will then become turn announcer, kind of like what happened last night at Indianapolis at that 2.5-mile track. He'll call the action from turn 2 all the way to the back stretch to 3. As right now, Samuel, we are watching Cole Raz, Caden Anderson going at it. And here's a replay presented by Polk's Poppers of some of the chaos that just went on into turn number 3.
Just drifted a little bit too high and close for my liking up to Raz, and that's for the leader. That is a worst case scenario to see a driver that's a lap down, getting back on track and almost ruining your day.
Super friends, if you will, going at it now. Raz and Anderson. Samuel, you've seen in the truck series the dominance of these two drivers. One from Oregon, one from Washington. What can you say about Super Friends and also what they're doing in this Cup race tonight?
I mean, on the Cup side of things, this is so much more impressive to watch. The fact that they pulled away this large of a lead, but at the same time, they are going to be overcooking these tires. We're now the halfway point of this run. We could be seeing drivers start to make a mount back, that of Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, and others. But the major thing that I'm so impressed by is that this, for the Cup side of things, is a fixed setup league, meaning all the drivers on track, they have the same exact car. There's only small little adjustments that you can make. You make steering ratio adjustments. Meaning the more that you turn your wheel, going to be a little bit less action going to be given. Sometimes a little bit more. It matters on how big your ratio and less it is, as well as a little bit of brake bias, that if you tap the brake, it helps you turn a little bit more. But drivers in the trucks, all that we cover on Thursday nights, that's an open setup league. It's about the setup builders more than it is about the drivers at times. Right now, this is all the drivers, and the Super Friends are certainly putting on a show.
And right now, there's almost half a second behind back there for Dan West Jr. You can see about 7-8 car lengths, maybe 10 as they dive down into the corner. And a moment ago, you saw the 17 of Duncan. He's got a pink-looking car. We saw, obviously, the different wrap job on the 6 for the birthday car of Chris White. Some of these drivers, Samuel, because this is home, it's kind of like the all-star race, if you will, at Charlotte for the Northwest. They're running special wrap jobs for this event.
Yeah, I mean, it's the time to do it. I mean, for some, when you think about patriotic schemes are the big, heavy hitters when you come out to, the normal NASCAR Charlotte race. And then also you think about other racing schemes that come out. You think about the Coca-Cola schemes and the Pepsi schemes that have been placed for whenever the old, July 4th at Daytona. There's a lot of different schemes for special events, and here tonight certainly is a special one for some of these drivers.
Working now, 36 laps completed, closing in on under 100 laps to go, actually. Probably about another 40 laps away from halfway and 100 miles down here in this 200-mile contest. It's Cole Raz, Caden Anderson, Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, and Kevin Smith, the top 5. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. In addition, We're going side
Or
by
maybe
side.
not, Wesley, maybe not. There's a
Caution.
carnage coming for these drivers on turns 3 and 4.
Yellow flag out for the third time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're trying to pick out what happened. We're
Casey
not going to
Duncan.
commercial just yet. Samuel, you saw it break loose.
It was that of Casey Duncan and as well going to be the 57. Just over aggression. And also Will Duvall going to be involved with this. And it just jam-packed. More drivers involved late. Wreck here right before we went to go to commercial break is take a look at some of the drivers, the aftermath, the coming into this carnage. As you see, drivers trying to slow down, not able to, and just running each other over after this wreck had happened.
Paulison, Sector 5 entry. He's also a runner last night in the Indy 500. And hey, buddy, he's going northbound in a southbound lane in reverse down the front straightaway into the Toyota restart zone before he finally comes to a rest. Damage on that car. Bruce Lee Weaver. Samuel, you thinking they might have tried to come down to the pit lane and got below the apron and somebody hit him?
Well, there was a wreck that happened ahead of them, and they all had to slow down, and some drivers just were not given the cue of, hey, there's a wreck in front of us, and just ran each other over. That was the main, what we saw there from that replay. And the carnage before that was seeing the 17 and also others as pit stops are now underway.
Yeah, we're going to see this before we go to commercial break. Watch these drivers come down to the pit lane. Of course, Cole Raz, Caden Anderson, Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, Kevin Smith, all in sequence. Monkey see, monkey do, Samuel, kind of like in the Indy 500 last night. The same scenario here for everybody in the top 10. They're pitting, except for Jeff Stabnow. He got sideways in his pit stall. Now he's got to back up. He's going to at least lose 2 seconds, and O'Hare's going to suffer from it also.
Yeah, and drivers, there is, if you go into the asphalt, onto the concrete, when you're going into your box, you can actually phase through one another. But if you're not in that box area, you can make contact, and that's exactly what we just saw happen there.
Hard break for Jeff Stabnow and Stephen O'Hare as cars come off of the pit lane. It looks like, I don't think Ritter's pitted, so it's Brian Reynolds, Brett Johnson, Toby Ritters. Those cars stay on the racetrack. For everyone else that just pitted, it'll be Cole Raz who comes out on the pit lane first. All right, let's try this again. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification as it is now 12 p.m. Eastern Time, midnight into Tuesday, May 17th. We're also going to go side by side so you do not miss a thing. Actually, we don't have to. We're under caution. We'll show full commercials. We're back from Charlotte in a moment.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
We're back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The lights are still on the pace car. We're working lap number 41 of 134 laps, 200 miles here at Charlotte. Samuel Dyer is alongside. I am Wesley Outland. Justin Prince will be here momentarily. And then we'll throw Samuel off of turn number 2 on a forklift virtually and see what he can do in the corners there. I like the turn announcing kind of format last night, Samuel.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a lot easier in real life than it is on the virtual side, I would say, as you can see when the drivers are coming in what spot. Virtual end, we're trusting where our producer puts the camera, so we know exactly where we are on track.
Just got to remember that basically we'll do radio. I'll call a lap, then Samuel will call a lap, or Justin will call a lap, and Samuel will call off of turns 1 and 2 to the backstretch as we get ready to go here at America's Home for Racing, the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, round 10 tonight. Northwest Cup Series. If that's Justin shows up, he's kind of caught up in another broadcast right now, another obligation. Jack Daniels time. Briar Reynolds and Cole Raz is on the front row. Caden Anderson, Dan West Jr., Kevin Smith in the top 5. Report to HR.
Ooh.
I never said that. I never said throwing anybody on a forklift. I said, what is it like to be up in a forklift? I know what that's like, especially when those cars, Samuel, come by you with the wind flying. Oh, my goodness. We're ready. I want to hear the replay. We're ready for the restart with Briar Reynolds, Cole Raz. I'll tell you what, Samuel, Jack Daniels time for the Camaro number 12. This is a chance for Briar Reynolds to show some of his strengths, but you got to remember, you got new tires versus old tires, and you see what happens. You just get swallowed up.
Yeah, Briar Reynolds, first yellow, he came into pit road, took a set of tires, so he cannot afford to take another one here. His next time that he comes into pit road around lap 80 to lap 100, that's when the 12 can finally take another set.
Literally swallows him up as they come off of the turn across the dog legs, past start finish. And Raz is the man out in front. Raz and Anderson, West, Smith, Garber, top 5. Some other drivers mired in the back. Samuel, we mentioned the problems for the 24 of Jeff Stabnow and for O'Hare as we're on board with Sean Breitzman. He's also kind of mired in the back. Earlier, he's now climbed back into the top 10 in 8th position.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we've seen a great run from Sean Breitzman as well as we get an onboard camera of the 46 Prize Boutique machine. And right now, running in 8th place, really just following in suit of the driver that's been our biggest mover all night long. That is Dennis Moore. Moore leading the drivers that did not decide to qualify. And he has started all the way back in 31st, Wesley. He's climbed into the top 10, and he's looking at the pace as yellow flag strikes. It's John Ottenbacher.
Yellow flag comes out for the driver in a Billings, Montana. Number 89, John Ottenbacher here at Concord. The driver not from Concord. Yellow flag number 4, Samuel. You saw it break loose.
It's going to be going into turn number 3 when we get the replay, and it's a big one. This collects multiple drivers, but it all is going to be stemming around the 12 for Briar Reynolds. Again, old tires, much slower than the rest of the field. You're going to see Ottenbacher, Ryan Bloom, just both trying to decide how to get by this 12 machine. A little bit of miscommunication on where you're at, and there goes Ottenbacher.
Ottenbacher then hits the backside of Bloom's car. Gamble involved. Lowther caught up in it. McDonald got a little side of it. Here comes Paulison on the bottom. He was involved in that last recent caution. He somehow weasels by. Maybe some damage as he dropped down to the apron. But as nightfall settles in here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, caution coming out here for the 4th time. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the caution information. By the way, they're all available for sponsorship if anybody's events available now. 3 caution flags now. I think I said 4 cautions. Sorry, I lost track. Caution flag number 3. Caution laps are 8 of 47 laps right now. And Samuel, it seems like the early Indy 500, only 2 lead changes.
Yeah, I mean, the only lead changes have been Briar Reynolds and that of Cole Raz, as that change happened very quickly going down in turn number 1 on that restart. But for the majority of this field that were involved with that wreck, it's just the worst time to see that type of an incident happen. Right after a restart, everyone's trying to get by, and the pack is right on top of one another. There's really nowhere to go. And a collection of, doing a count here, about 8 to 10 drivers involved with this wreck. Only that going to be John Ottenbacher with the required damage that needs to get repaired. But he'll use a fast repair. And this is going to force a lot of drivers, I think, to have to use a fast repair here early in the first half of this race.
So, Samuel, I believe this is your first broadcast with us this year with the Next Gen Cup car for the Northwest Racing Series. I'm sure you followed them to keep up with the action for the truck broadcast that you do on Thursday night. What's your take of these Next Gen events so far, the first 9 races in?
I mean, it has been great to watch these drivers 9 races in. I think the big thing that I've been loving is seeing the different updates that iRacing has been putting on these Next Gen cars each and every week, just taking more and more data from the real world and putting it into the virtual side of things for these drivers. And I've been loving the fact that we've been seeing so many different winners, kind of similar to the trucks in some aspects, but we've also seen some dominance. Blake Peterson not here tonight. I think that's a real sigh of relief for the majority of this field. But Caden Anderson, Cole Raz, the Super Friends are just so dominant up front. The question is, it might have to take a strategy call or taking a Hail Mary throw of trying to come in for take only 2 tires, three tires, maybe a fuel strategy run that's going to beat these two.
We're closing in on 50 laps completed here. Let's give you your full field rundown as they're still under the caution flag here at lap number 47. Cole Raz is the leader. Caden Anderson second. Dan West Jr. third. Kevin Smith is fourth, and Casey Garber the top 5. Chris White is sixth. Dennis Moore 7th. Sean Brightsman 8th. Jeff Stab now 9th, and Brian Reynolds currently your top 10.
11th going to be Ron Hunter with that seeing Chris Kamari, as well as Toby Ritter is going to finish out your top 13. 14th going to be Tristan Woods with that of Stephen Paulson in 15th. Daniel Rogers is going to be in 16th with that of Bruce Lee Weaver in 17th. 18th Tyler Kim, Brett Johnson in 19th. In 20th going to be Stephen O'Hare.
21st will be Aaron Cooper. Casey Duncan currently back in the 22nd spot. Normally he's up in the front. John Onenbacher in the 23rd position. Frank Harris 24th. BJ Tidrick is 25th. Alex Duda 26th. Ryan Bloom is 27th. Dan Lowther is 28th. 29th is Troy Daggett. Gary Nichols currently your top 30.
Then 31st is where we find our points leader, the 4, that of Brian Barnes, as well as that of Vinny McDonald. It's going to be in 32nd position. 33rd is going to be that of BJ Duvall, as well as Robert Gamble in 34th, and James Vining going to be our 35th driver, with Bryce Beatty and Carl Burke our only 2 official DNFs of the night so far.
A 37-car field took the green flag. 34 cars currently right now on the lead lap as they'll get ready to settle their way back into the Toyota restart zone next time around, and we will get ready to go for the restart. We're live iRacing on the LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM in the Triangle of the North Carolina area. And by the way, if you want to join the team at LSRTV, whether you want to be a producer or an announcer, and we are hiring, apply today. LiveSimRacingTV.com. Especially since I got to report to HR, Samuel, after I guess the most recent caution saying I was going to throw you off of a virtual forklift.
I mean, good thing I'm 6'9". I could probably just stand up. I'd be just as tall as a forklift.
Wow, you are 6'9"? Holy cow.
I'm a giant, my guy.
You would tower over me, okay? How tall do you think I am, Samuel?
I'm going to say about 5'9".
I'm 5'11".
Oh, that was my first guess in my brain. I just didn't want to, I wasn't sure.
5'11".
Oh. Hey, I want the average, okay?
I'd still look up at you, okay? And no, I'm not no 2 foot. Samuel, we're ready for the restart here. The guy in the Toyota restart zone. Kansas didn't even have a restart zone sponsor when we came back to green tonight at the STEM 500 race. We're back underway with Raz, Anderson, West, and Smith. Top 5 along with Garber and Samuel. As nightfall settles in, the lights illuminate around America's home for racing here in Charlotte, and we are closing in on halfway.
Lights turn on. The battle for the lead is on as well. This is going to be Cole Raz, Caden Anderson. Anderson finally putting a little bit of pressure on Cole Raz.
Super Friends going at it as they work through the tri-oval, down in or through the dog leg, back to turn number 1. Here at Charlotte, outside lane. Raz battles. Anderson fights back on the inside. They work off 2. And we got trouble. Trouble up in turn number 1, right in front of the Speedway Suites. Troy Daggett has crashed. Several other cars have crashed. It's a pretty nasty wreck on lap number 50. Yellow flag will now fly for the 4th time here in Charlotte.
Well, this replay is going to show a 1.5-mile track that has plenty of space and room to go 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide. Go a little gridlock action. It is one of the biggest wrecks so far here tonight. I thought the last one was a pretty bad one. This is, when we get the replay, Wesley, this is not good for the back half of the field.
So the caution flag coming out again for the 4th time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Northwest Cup Series. Watch this now on our replay. We're telling you on the radio where it happened. And watch him now as Ottenbacher, Harris, understanding Troy Daggett, other cars that were up there in that mix. We're watching it now. This is, if you will, before all, you know what, broke loose, Samuel, down the back straightaway, working through 3 and 4. And now they're coming back off of turn number 4 at start-finish. And this is when it all takes place. Watch these cars. Daggett up in the wall, the 51. There's Daggett. There's some more cars spinning. Oh, man, Aaron Cooper was involved. Oh, my. That's a multi-car accident.
Yeah.
How many cars is that, 10?
It's 10 to 12 to fall with that one. As you're going to see John Ottenbacher's point of view, this is going to be actually Tyler Kim and Dana Rogers are going to be the catalyst vehicles that run into one another. Kim's going to get into the 07 on the entry of the corner, but this pack of drivers, I mean, at this point, you're picking. You're either high side, low side. You're trusting the lane that you're in. You're expecting everyone to be running clean. And then going into turn number 1, a little bit of jam up, and there's the contact between Kim and Rogers, and just nowhere to go for Ottenbacher and others behind.
Ottenbacher, Harris, of course, there you see Tedrick involved, Cooper involved, Kamari caught up in it again. Oh, my. Wow. Yeah, that's the big one. We just saw it in turn 1.
But it could, I don't want to say it, but I have to. We have the potential of having more wrecks like that because of the fact that we're going to be restarting, resetting, and with fresh tires that the majority of this field has, they're going to be right on top of one another again on this restart. Do have a couple of drivers added to the mix of being a DNF, that of BJ Duval as well as Aaron Cooper. They are officially done with that of Bryce Beatty and Carl Berg.
So at least they're thinking they can go at least 50 laps more on fuel is what we're being told. 81 laps to go here. Samuel, they're going to have to make another pit stop. So I'm thinking you got, what, 3 sets of tires you were given when this race started. So maybe laps 75, 80, penultimate pit stop coming up, you think?
Yeah, I mean, with the max window that we have, around 62 laps for these drivers, it's going to be placing them right around the window of 72 to 73 is that low window. But this isn't the Indy 500 like we covered yesterday. It's not just to lap 134. There is always the potential of overtime for these drivers. So I would say that laps 175 to 185 might be the window for the majority of these drivers they're hoping to get to.
And I'm understanding that Mr. Justin Prince will be joining us here in just a matter of moments as he has wrapped up his other iRacing commitment. Great work behind the scenes, of course. Samuel Dyer here, and Justin will be along the way. And Samuel, you're going to stand up on the back of that video board up there. You see that video board is on the top of where the video. No, I'm just playing. But if you ever do go to Charlotte, you do a turn announcement or do a race, they put you up on a video board up behind that platform on the top of that screen. And that's where they normally have the turn announcers and people work at. So, yes.
So, I mean, if I go there, I stand up, I'm going to be just about halfway. So I guess we just need to get a little step stool and I should be all right.
And it's finally our privilege to welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, who is normally the sidekick on Monday night, Mr. Samuel Dyer. Thanks for joining me here for the first 55 laps. He don't go nowhere. We're throwing him on the back straightaway here at Charlotte. Justin Prince from Canada. Good evening to you, buddy.
Thank you very much, Wesley. Excited to see how things play out the rest of the way here at Charlotte, especially towards the midway portion of this race. Plenty of difficulties to get around the circuit, especially with the next-gen machinery. Even with the testing, it's important to mention this track is very bumpy, as I'm pretty sure you've seen and discussed throughout the night. It's going to be tough for some of these drivers to settle it out the rest of the way and sort themselves out, but the strategy was still a one-stopper on the gas from this caution.
Justin, I got to be giddy to say this. I asked Samuel, I'll ask you, my friend, what was your take of everything last night, 24 hours into the Indy 500?
Well, when it comes to the Indianapolis 500-mile race for the Major Series, it was a race filled with attrition. a lot of challenges, adversity, but also heartbreak, luck, triumph. It was a race where there's a reason tradition is so prestigious when it comes to the Brickyard. And there's a reason when you have this entire weekend of speed, when you include not just the Indianapolis 500-mile race, you also include the World 600 / Coca-Cola 600. You include the Monaco Grand Prix. It's such a memorable time of the year for motorsport fans to have that triple crown of speed all months, that same window of time.
And here we'll get ready now. It looks like the lights are going to go off on the pace car. We'll make one more lap around, and it'll be lap number 56 complete. Working lap 57, 10 laps to halfway when they work back to the Toyota restart zone and we get the green flag. So Samuel Dyer will work his way to the back straightaway. Justin will join me lap, then I'll call a lap, then he'll call a lap from turn number 4 to the front stretch to 1. And all of this great racing rolling on here. Real quickly to let Justin catch up, let's take a look again at the caution information of where we are on the bottom left. And Justin, there you see 4 cautions, 15 laps of 56, and only 2 lead changes. And hey, as you always say, Justin, super friends have been battling it out 1 and 2.
That's to be expected when it comes to their expertise. These mile and a halves, usually they are strong at. Keep an eye, Dan West Jr. still in months that top 3 for this restart. He's also showed good speed on mile and a halves, especially a longer run. Kevin Smith having a solid run up here towards the front as well in terms of getting himself through some of the troubles as they try and get the right gear dialed in. That's going to be critical for the launch.
It'll be lap number 57 when they come back to the Toyota restart zone. Let's give you the top 10 one more time. Raz, Anderson, West, Smith, Garber, top 5. White, Stabnow, Moore, Kamari, Reynolds, the top 10. Field 2 by 2 by 2 as they work in. Pace car behind the wall through the dog leg. Green flag goes back in the air. It's the driver from Lake Oswego, Oregon, getting the jump. It's Raz. He pulls away. His friend Anderson, 2 car lengths behind him. Samuel off turn 2.
And the big thing for Caden Anderson is he was so aggressive on the last restart before that big wreck happened that brought out our most recent yellow. It looks like he wants to get aggressive again down into turn number 4.
Coming through the corner, aerial coverage provided by LSRTV and LiveSimRacing.com. Things settling amongst the top 5, but Anderson wants to take a poke. Jeff Stabnow amongst those having a check up in the back of the top 8, grouping into turn 1 they rumble.
As these drivers are racing down out of turn number 2, a lot of the drivers single filing out. Wants to watch out for Dennis Moore up to 7th. Again, he started all back in 31st position. He is a driver on the move.
Watching them work their way now off of turn number 4. Stabnow stays up under the back end of the machine of Dennis Moore. This now heats up for the 7th spot. Stabnow across the start-finish line. Reels him in. 3 car lengths, maybe more. Here comes also now the battle for the lead. It heats up off of turn 2 between Anderson and Raz again.
Picking and choosing, but those first couple, the first stint that we had was all about what Cole and also going to be that of Caden, just keeping it easy between one another. But here, Justin, they might have a chance for that of Anderson again out of turn 4.
Anderson on the bottom, Cole Raz forced up top. Drag race down the front straight away. Raz gives a bit of a pinch, trouble behind them. Reynolds with some trouble in the infield. More calls for that trouble. We stay green. It was the 8th place car. At the time, Jeff Stabnow now on the apron.
Jeff Stabnow got to be slow, and he'll get back up to speed. But when from 8th now back to 24th, as he'll get back on the track. Or will he? He's a little loose there on the inside. Luckily holds on, but the battle for the lead is back to raging side by side.
Working off turn 4 now, put Dan West Jr. in that battle. A little scare for his teammate Jeff Stabnow a moment ago, but the battle ensues. 3 cars now. Raz to the inside. Up to the outside, Anderson comes to the inside, driver left, they make contact on a turn 2, they wreck, Raz gets into Dan West Jr., he slams and piles in, here comes Kevin Smith involved, 4 cars wrecking in front of you, Samuel off 2.
It's just a complete pile-up and mess. It just continued to grow further and further back through the field that we're trying to slow down and not run each other over. But just like our 2 other big ones here tonight, The rest of the field just not able to slow down like they would like to. The brakes have been such an issue with these next-gen cars. But the big one strikes up front between the teammates, and it's Cole Raz getting the brunt of it.
So the caution flag comes out again here for the 5th time. Here's a Pulse Poppers instant replay, and it actually happened between 1 and turn 2. Samuel, I'll let you tell everybody what happened, but it battle started into turn number 1 and 2 where the contact was made.
Yeah, I mean, they were already battling side by side for the past couple of laps, and just Cole Raz, Kate Anderson putting the pressure on one another here, and you're already kind of getting a sense how much these teammates trust one another and their abilities. But it comes to a cost, especially with this, how tight this setup is. You come to the exit of the corners, these drivers not on the freshest the tires have been, about 15, 16 laps of wear and tear. And you see Anderson just trying to hold that blue line, taps a little bit too much, comes up into Raz, and Dan West Jr. in an instant victim. Then you see Kevin Smith as well as that of Casey Garber. Nowhere to go for themselves, but there's the hard contact later on.
Kristen Wood piles in, Kevin Smith involved, maybe a glancing blow off of the safer wall barrier for the driver of Mr. Dan West Jr., the Shelton, Washington, 2-time defending Truck Series champion. Justin, you always call them super friends. Do you think they're friends right now? That might have been a little too aggressive. What a hard hit there for Cole Raz.
I think there's going to be some hurt tempers. Still going to be friends because we've seen them race hard before, but that was a very tight squeeze a bit on the exit, but also the slight push-up with Anderson. Those tempers absolutely got to be fuming, but if the driver's not in the super friend camp, you're definitely not happy. You're not happy for Kevin Smith. You're absolutely furious if you're in the back group, like Tristan Wood, who slammed to the side of some of the cars sliding, who didn't hold the brakes. And here's the thing when it comes to incidents like that, what do they say? Hold the brakes for that reason.
And all the while, the caution coming out here, 5 laps or less to halfway with now Caden Anderson. Samuel smiling like a red rose. I don't mean to say that as a euphemism of disrespect, but he came out as the lucky end of that stick, if you will, after the accident with a super friend of Cole Raz.
Yeah, I mean, also everyone else behind Kate Anderson, they're feeling pretty lucky if they were able to scave their way through. I mean, that's an extra 4 positions given to that of Chris White and Dennis Moore that were battling at one point just for 6th and 7th place. Well, now they're in 2nd and 3rd. The question of how aggressive do they want to be on Kate Anderson? But yeah, I mean, he's got to be smiling at the same time. Those comms between the teammates had to downhill from here.
The only good thing of this as well, Samuel, Justin, is there is a fast repair on the horizon for a lot of those drivers that just got caught up in that accident, especially like Cole Raz.
You want to rely upon it, though, before you get to the halfway mark? No. That's the tough break. Where, yes, you have the fast repair to keep you in the race, but now you have to drive on eggshells throughout the rest of the way and hope you avoid every single dart and dodge the rest of the way. Well, also, mind you, being at the back of the pack, right essentially behind all of the troubles. And there's also the trouble spot.
And they're going to cut the lights off of the pace car. We're going to come to 1 to go this time around, possibly. It'll be at least a couple of more laps to be 4 halfway. Let's set it up now. New drivers up in the top 5 after Raz and Anderson get together. Anderson will still hold on to the top spot. Chris White there, 2-time defending series champion, is going to be on the outside of row number 1 as the lights are off on the pace car. When they come back from the Toyota restart zone, they will get the green flag. Samuel, as they lead their way behind you to the pace car at tow into turn number 2, Dennis Moore and Toby Ritters. Camary, some drivers that had problems earlier, now they're sitting in a nice catbird seat. Duncan, Reynolds, all in the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for Toby Ritters and Camary, both of them were heavily involved with our second wreck of the evening, our first big one, you could say, and both of them have already used their fast repair. Same for that of Casey Duncan back in 7th. So there's a lot of drivers now mixed and mingled that have already lost their safety net. They're going to hope that they don't get caught up in any other messes.
I'll tell you what, Justin, we'll bring this field back to the green flag as the lights are off on the pace car. And, of course, it's going to be interesting to see what those drivers can do that are mired in the back. The lights are off on the pace car. They're into turn number 3 with Anderson and White alongside of each other. Moore and Ritters, row number 2. Kamari and Reynolds, row number 3. New contenders as we come back to the Toyota restart zone on lap number 66.
Anderson in control of the pack. Chris White with a special pace scheme trying to bring Jamie and that 14th birthday machine to the point. Green flag waves up on the stand, back and away. The top line caught sleeping. Anderson rolls away, side by side for second. Dennis Moore in the Beaver State Racing Machine runs bottom, looking to clear on by Chris White, down along the blue line out of turn 2.
Beautiful moves by the 44, and that restart so key. But that outer lane with these older tires, we'll see if Chris White can keep up this speed, and he'll keep second place into 3.
Anderson now pulling away. Big lead by 10 car lengths. There's Chris White. 3 car lengths now on Dennis Moore. They stay single file. They work through the start-finish line. Ritters now littered in the top 5. They now go triple screen trouble off of turn number 4. Sean Brightsman's car has crashed. Robert Gamble is involved. BJ Tidrick involved. More cars pile in. Caution is out at halfway. Here is Charlotte and Dan West Jr. Worse for wear. Caught up in it again.
And he was side by side in the battle with Robert Gamble around the teens. And here's the tough thing when you go through the quad oval here at Charlotte. You need to make sure you give space when you cut through for the first part of the quad oval. West Jr., as you'll see here, did not do that. He comes across the right fender of Gamble, right into Brightsman. It spins all 3 cars out, and it's a terrible spot to have a parking lot form. 3 or 4 other cars come slamming on in from the back of the pack.
Hard break for so many cars. I think I forgot to mention the other driver of the 55 involved. Dan West Jr. I think I mentioned him, but also number 8, Gary Nichols, caught up in that accident. Oh my goodness. Samuel, to you in turn number 2, it seems like turn 1's become the calamity spot.
Well, I mean, it's honestly, it's been a lot of different spots throughout this night, but certainly the entry of turn 1, that front stretch, has been the calamity section for now. And with the amount of damage that those drivers were seeing, a couple of more drivers going to be officially done for the night. The 16 of Alex Duba going to be out of this race. James Vining, who's had internet issues throughout this night, he might be calling it a night as well, as he's left earlier. Just collection of drivers. And now the real question, Wesley, is a lot more drivers are losing their faster pairs, and it's about to get a lot messier as we're getting an inch closer and closer to halfway.
And we have officially passed halfway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for round number 10 of the Northwest Cup Series here tonight. It is Caden Anderson. Let's give you a full field rundown. As it stands, Caden Anderson leads. Chris White is 2nd. Toby Ritter's 3rd. Chris Kamari is 4th. Briar Reynolds is 5th. Casey Duncan 6th. Dan Lowther is 7th. Troy Daggett 8th. Jeff Stabnow 9th. And Casey Garber, your top 10.
Evan O'Hara currently in 11th position. Ron Hunter from 33rd up to 12th spot at the moment. Manny McDonald to 13th amongst those who dodged the trouble. Brett Johnson's in 14th after his big collision earlier. Cole Raz is back to 15th with Kevin Smith in 16th. Frank Harris, Bruce Wee Weaver, 17th and 18th. Brian Barnes in 19th position, and Dan West Jr., after his incident and the faster pair, is in 20th.
Then 21st is going to be Brett Johnson, which that is Sean Brightsman going to be back in 22nd after being involved with that wreck. With Gary Nichols in 23rd. 24th is going to be that of Brian Barnes, as well as Ryan Bloom in 25th. 26th is going to be Dana Rogers, as well as Robert Gamble in 27th. Tristan Woods going to be in 28th. And a couple of more drivers going to be out of this race. BG Tidrick in 29th is done. Talked about Alex Duba going to be in 30th is done. James Vining in 31st is done. That of Tyler Kim still out on track, but 10 laps down in 32nd position. 33rd is BJ Duvall. He's out of this race. John Ottenbacher still in pit road getting repairs done on that 89 and 34th and 35th. Aaron Cooper, 36th is that of Bryce Beatty, and that of Carl Burke going to be in 37th. All 3 of those final drivers, all with a DQ.
Yeah, tough break for those drivers, as right now 24 cars on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is the points leader of Brian Barnes. I want to see if we can pull up the keys to victory Justin, I want to get your take on these. What's your take of these keys to victories, and do you think they sit perfectly to try to win here at Charlotte tonight?
Well, with the right front tire, that is extremely important, absolutely, because it's very easy if you're too aggressive on corner exit and too heavy-footed, so to speak, on the throttle to burn up that right front tire, and you go from being quick on the short run to being a sitting duck on the long run. And that's because of the setup being very tight. When it's tight, that's usually because that's a setup that tends to wear more in that right front, and the more you burn the right front, the more tighter you'll get. So to avoid that pushing effect, you have to be able to limit that tire wear, but also find a way to wear the rear tires more. Avoiding the wheel spin on the restarts, that's something I think most of the drivers have learned as the season has gone on, but it's something that can happen here. I can add a fourth one to that, though. When it comes to Charlotte, you have to be able to handle the bumps, because with this track, with how much it wears in, especially with the weather conditions, those tires really take a beating because of the impact of some of the corners, in particular where the tunnels are.
Well, here we go. The lights are off now on the pace car. We will settle you in for this restart. And mind you, we're in the second half of the race. Second half of the race. Samuel Dyer, what's your take of the first half so far? You were here most of the way.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of big wrecks happening, and we talked about the fact that we're expecting a long green flag run at some point, but the pace that we're going with these wrecks, who knows if we will, especially the fact that we're going to see such a change in tire strategies. We got about half of our drivers on the lead lap going to be on old tires. The other half just came in for freshies.
Ready for the field to settle back in. Look at the weather conditions as nightfall settles in as well. Justin, we talked about that when we came on the air, this transition of day into night. Air temp at 84, track temp at 86, wind speed 10 miles an hour, downforce especially on the back straightaway. Could this wind, now up to 12 miles an hour, as we come back to the restart, Justin, cause havoc for these cars, do you think, as we move into the Toyota restart zone?
Especially in the corners, absolutely. Right now, that wind specifically blowing the direction towards the back straightaway, meaning lots of turbulence for them to deal with in the middle of the corners. Green flag is out. Anderson off and away into the Toyota restart zone. He brings Toby Ritters with them to second. Chris White again struggles up top on the launch. Cameri looks to take advantage. Side by side, Cameri pushes up off of two.
Big thing to watch out here. He's Brian Reynolds. He's on the oldest set of tires. He pitted back on caution number 2 of the night, and he's been sitting back and forth. These cautions have kept him up in the lead.
Mired up on the outside wall as Duncan. Lowler will follow. Reynolds stays to the inside. They get a little wiggle there. Cars get some downforce, some aeroforce, some draft. They got loose. They hold it together. This goes on into turn number 1 and 2. Great battle heating up as McDonald about hits the inside safer wall barrier. He comes back on the racetrack off of pit lane, but smoke bellowing from that car. Now Samuel as he works into turn number 2.
Yeah, luckily still able to keep rolling. This is 42 machine of McDonald, but certainly a hard contact on both sides. He's going to hope that STP continues to roll, and it is. Luckily on track, but he's going to be mired back at 24th, hoping to stay on the lead lap, but back to where Brian Reynolds is in. It is getting chaotic with these drivers. Jeff Stabnow and other drivers that took 4 fresh tires, they're now getting in the mix of things here. This is when this group can get dangerous around that 10th place position.
All that coming through 3 and 4 now. Anderson with the lead of 8/10 away from the craziness. 12-car Reynolds rides up top, gets zipped on by Garber on the blue seam. Here comes Stabnow side by side with Cole Raz behind him. Stabnow high side, goes for the side draft into turn 1. Raz pushes up a touch. Stabnow takes the dirty air of Reynolds, gets boxed in as Raz passes them both.
That's just a big thing with Brian Reynolds. He is just being, right now, a moving chicane that's just hard for drivers. They're trying to go up, down, wherever they can go, and everyone's finding the opening on the lower end.
Jeff Stabnow. Problems earlier before caution at halfway. Mired in the top 5, back to the top 25. How do you like me now? The 24 settling back in, climbing the ladder for that machine out of Billings, Montana. The driver now back to 10th. You are watching now Kevin Smith, who's trying to redeem from some bad luck on the back stretch. He sits behind him as they go to turn 3.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, part of that carnage from Cole Rats and others that were involved in that big wreck up front. He had to use a fast spare at that time. Now, trying to go with Jeff Stabnow to move forward. You saw there, a little bit of a wiggle for that 00 machine.
Really trying to work the wheel in particular, trying to keep an eye on all the dashboards, especially that digital dash that he has in his physical space towards the right side of his wheel. He tries to follow the same line as Stabnow up too.
Doing a great job as coming down the back stretch. Gotta say, for Kevin Smith, just be patient. Still, yes, we're past halfway, Wesley, but there's still a lot of racing to be seen.
Certainly a lot of racing left to go from the back stretch all the way around into start-finish now. The leader of Kevin Smith, you're on board with him currently in the 11th spot is what I meant to say. The leader is Caden Anderson, way up ahead in the spotlights as he moves your way to you now, Samuel, out of turn number 2.
Yeah, I mean, feeling comfortable and confident, Caden Anderson all the way up where he's at, but this battling, Casey Garver, Cole Rats.
Caution flag is out. It's Dana Rogers, who is the wrong way around the racetrack in 26th. And that triggers the caution as it was all on his lonesome as he cut through parts of the quad oval in 2 different segments. He spun it again. Pulse Poppers instant replay. A quick tell of the tape.
Dana Rogers pointing northbound in a southbound lane to put us under the yellow flag for the 6th time here at Charlotte. Justin, you saw it happen in the tri-oval.
He cuts through the quad oval in one section, jumps over the artificial turf, and that loses all the stability for him in that mark. At that point, the second the car cuts right, he's a passenger. And then it gets even worse where he's the wrong way around, tries to turn it around, gets himself into a burnout instead of turning it around, and then now he's stuck in the middle of where part of the Rovo entry is to finally get himself back rolling. Not the night Dana Rogers wanted to have, to say the very least, with some of the penalties earlier.
So the caution will come back out over the speedway again, working lap number 79, lap 80 looming, and here comes the cavalry coming down to the pit lane. Caden Anderson, Chris White, Duncan, Ritters, all cars that are in the top 10. Justin, coming to you on pit road.
Dan Leather stays out amongst those on with Raz, but Anderson looks to time it up for his pit stall. Has a big advantage over the rest of the pack. O'Hare and company also onto the boxes. Stabnow and Smith trying to sort themselves out side by side for their entries. Stabnow overruns his stall as a result. Smith also has to back up. West Jr. has to back up. Everybody having mistakes in the middle of the pit lane. Oh, while Anderson having a long stop, having a hard time getting rolling. Something's wrong with Anderson. Anderson has had a problem in his pit lane. He is out of the car in the 37.
Wonder if something has been a penalty issue to the 37 of Caden Anderson. He might have possibly maybe been speeding on pit road. Something amiss on the 37, and finally he rolls away. I don't think it was a 40-second penalty. Samuel,
nope.
But over to you in turn number 2. Justin, we'll get that word here in a minute. But Samuel, we saw problems with O'Hare and Smith and Stabnow mostly 2 times in a row now when he's come in for pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, it's just drivers not knowing where the other drivers' pit boxes are and just miscommunication when you're trying to go down into where your box is. You're not able to phase through when you're on the asphalt still, and not until you hit the concrete in your box when you are able to phase through other drivers. And contact has been made, and also the brakes. Drivers have been struggling to slow down when there's wrecks in front of them, and also struggling to get in their box without sliding on by.
Justin Prince, you have an update on the most recent pit stop for Caden Anderson.
Can confirm that was not a sim penalty picked up for Anderson on that entry. Currently working on getting the exact reasoning there after a 39-second stop. I believe we got that word. He apparently decided to give up the lead to watch a replay. Yes, wow. That is what we are hearing from the team.
He gives up the lead to watch a replay of something that happened on the racetrack, is what we're gathering. Wow. Hey, by the way, here's something to think about. Sim time of this distance is 53:30 remaining in sim time. Also, 53 laps to go. Samuel, or Justin, is that something we should keep an eye on with that clock and that lap right there in sequence?
If the pattern keeps on coming up with caution, precaution, absolutely. Because right now, if it goes green from here, It's comfortable by about 20 or 30 minutes. You get another few cautions, then it gets concerning because the pace laps are 1 minute and 33 seconds per time around. You do the math, the more cautions you get, the more tighter it will be and more pressure for drivers, especially if it goes to overtime tonight.
Thinking the lights will come off on the pace car this time by new drivers with now 53 laps to go across the start-finish line. It'll be 52 remaining when they take the green flag on lap number 83, working lap 83 with 82 laps completed next time around. Cole Raz is, of course, is back in the lead after Anderson gives up the lead after looking at a replay from a pit stop. Look who's back up there again. The Yakima, Washington native. Dan Lowther looking good in the number 2 spot in the 63. Chris Camary, Dennis Moore, Troy Daggett, new drivers, or Samuel as they work their way to you, ready for the restart. Drivers that had problems in the early going, now having their chance to shine under the lights at America's home for virtual racing.
Yeah, our front four all have already used their fast repair, and then also that Sean Bressman back in 7th. A lot of the drivers up front are going to be mired with those using their fast repairs, no longer having that, safety net underneath them. But also for the majority of the drivers that are up front, they're going to be on older tires. Top 10 decided not to come into pit road. That's going to be a factor to watch out for.
Almost set to go to get back underway. Dan Lowther on the inside. Cole Raz on the outside looking to retake the top spot. Looking from on top of Dennis Moore. Outside road to the outside line has struggled off the launch the past couple restarts. Raz tries to jump it. Lowther times it up well. The 1-5 Studios pack machine off and away on the inside. Raz keeps up on the outside. 2x2 into turns 1 and 2. Raz works up the middle track. Lowther runs the blue line. Raz is quicker. Raz has the power.
But Raz doesn't have the same amount of tires. The tire wear advantage going to be going to Dan Lowther for the 63. That's why he's able to keep up with the speed with that exit. It is all Cole Raz up front.
Yeah, Raz is fighting hard now to battle there and hold on to that top spot as Dan Lowther reels him in. He'll have some help now from the Beaver State Racing entry of Dennis Moore. Camary settles in. Brightsman, after crashing earlier, back into the top 5. They work now single file. The conga lines off turn 2.
Right now, it's all that of Cole Raz, Dan Lowther, Dennis Moore, who's been a hard charger of the night, up 28 positions, qualified back in 31st, and he did not even put a time down. That's just where he was placed. Now up to 2nd.
Making the move, Dennis Moore indeed. Lowther looks to diamond it back, can't get there. Bobble behind for Chris Camary. Camary tries to hold off the damaged car. Troy Daggett blocking the lanes. Some traffic behind them trying to make moves as well, and Bruce Lee Weaver side by side for a top 5 spot. Camary up top, down the bottom, Daggett up 2.
These two have been battling back and forth. It's going to be Camary who has had the most damage throughout the night. Troy Daggett hasn't used his fast repair, but it looks damaged enough that he might want to on the next pit stop.
Weaver, Camary trying to run down Daggett on the inside of the racetrack as they put lap 85 on the board here in Charlotte through the start-finish line. Raz, Moore, Lowther, Brightsman, Camary holding off this battle now between Daggett and Weaver. Hunter, White, Johnson, top 10, they're off turn 2.
Big one to watch out for.
Hold on. We said no. Yes, it is. We do enter a caution. We're in trouble, Samuel.
And it's happening with McDonald and Anderson, and Anderson was squeezed into the wall into turn 1, going 3 wide with Brian Reynolds McDonald. Unbelievable.
I saw just a little glimpse of smoke. I questioned myself. I then second-guessed Samuel. I shouldn't have done that. The caution's out for the 7th time.
Yeah, and just like what Justin was saying, I mean, it's right now. You think about the silly reason why Caden Anderson is back here. I mean, he decided to watch a replay, to give up the lead, to come back here and challenge these drivers, and now he's going to get over-aggressive. It's going to put him in a bad situation to really, now he's going to have to use a fast repair potentially for this 37, and now he's still going to be stuck in the back of this field. But Justin, I mean, this is not really the way that you want to see this 37 try to just throw this race away here late in this race.
He did pick up the victory earlier in the campaign, but you can tell with just how long this full lap of development was, The patience levels were going away. Anderson seen an opportunity to window. With McDonald trying to take a peek, goes outside. Not the time, unfortunate there. McDonald, I don't think, realized that till the last few moments that the move was being made. And a hard hit for Anderson in the sequence.
And you see now why I question myself, Samuel, because the cars went up under the wall 3 wide. They did a spin, the smoke cleared, and then they went back into forward momentum. I've always been told when announcing NASCAR races, especially at tracks of this size, look for smoke. That's one of the biggest keys to let you know that there's trouble. The smoke quickly cleared, and those cars were able to continue, but now they're on the pit road.
Yeah, they're on to pit road, and also for Kane Anderson, forced to use his fast repair, and also for that of Vinnie McDonald, so many incident points, he gets himself a black flag here.
It'll now be 46 laps to go when the field comes back around under caution. And, oh my goodness, Justin, you showed up and the caution flag showed up, brother.
Sometimes that's how it works, right? But in all seriousness, I think this is where some of the patience levels are starting to boil a little bit down. We're inside that mark to make it to the end of field from here on out if you come down to the pit lane for reference. So for some, they know that are probably thinking, I've got to go. I've got to make passes. I've got to zip forward. I've got to go. Here's the tough part. With the one less tire set compared to the past events this season, that puts a lot of strain on the strategy for one, with 3 sets total in the pits when you consider things. And 2, it's the matter of who's banking on a late caution to use that set, because those drivers will become those who charge ahead. All while time is now a major factor because the lap count is keeping up with the minutes remaining on the session.
And hey, by the way, I don't even want to show what my Doppler radar looks like in North Carolina where I'm at right now, but guys, this is at the LSRTV production studios weather Doppler radar in Wichita Falls, Texas. Samuel, I've been dealing with weather all night, and it looks like our buddy Charles in the production truck is going to deal with some bad weather here. Hopefully we can get to the finish before that arrives.
You're reading that? It's a tornado warning, too.
Oh, my goodness.
We hope for the best.
Told it's a tornado warning. Holy cow.
Hope for the best.
And Charles says, come on, Wild Bill Samuel, let's go.
I mean, Charles has always been the wild one. Weather comes around, and he's just like, all right, well, how bad can we get? And he's always challenging.
Bring it on, Twister. It's a Twister. It's a Twister. We went from Kansas, and now we got horrible weather in Texas. So, no, in all seriousness, man, I hope you'll be safe, and we will do our due diligence, best efforts to stay on the air with you. Of course, the same thing here, dealing with weather here as well here in North Carolina. We've had a nor'eastern that, and Samuel, I talked about it the other day. I don't know if I talked to Justin about it, but there's been a nor'eastern that's hovered over the North Carolina coast, and it has literally pummeled the area that I live at almost all week. Into the weekend, little moments of sunshine, then there's thunderstorms, then there's hail, then there's rain, then there's lightning, then there's sun. And yeah, Mother Nature can't decide what it wants to do. By the way, we know what's going on. The lights are off on the pace car. We will get ready for a restart. So that's another thing we're mindful of, Samuel, watching that weather in Texas as we work lap 90. They're heading to you 2x2x2 with now Dennis Moore. Go Bears. Ready to battle, if you will, with Mr. Raz on the inside for the restart.
Right now, I'm watching our top 6. They're going to be on slightly older tires than the rest of the field behind them. Chris White back in 7th place in the Happy Birthday machine. He's going to be in the best opportunity with fresh tires. He's been trying to stay as mired, as patient as possible here. And for Chris White, he's going to be the driver on my radar to watch out for here tonight to potentially go for a win.
Give a quick check when it comes to Moore. That is a V, not an R on that. In regards to the Oregon State Beavers. Saying go Beavs. As he looks to try and go for his way.
Happy birthday, Jamie. By the way, happy birthday, Jamie.
Happy 14th birthday, yes indeed. Special paint scheme, rightful paint scheme starting inside row 4. But as they approach the Toyota restart zone, Raz inside, Moore outside. Raz in control. Taking him nice and slow. Green flag is out. The top line caught sleeping. Half of the bottom line caught sleeping. Raz is gone and then some. White with another horrific restart. Side by side for 7th. Brett Johnson looks to clear, but White able to bounce back quickly.
It was just a complete accordion effect on the inside lane that gave an opening for a majority of the drivers to make some big passes, as now that inside lane going to be, watching and looming of what is Camary going to do here. But Casey Garber, biggest driver, he's making some big moves there, Wesley.
Charles might be the Wild Bill ready to battle the weather in Texas, but here comes the virtual do-si-do with the guys at the top 5. Moore, Breitzman, Lowther, and Weaver. Guys that want to put a name of themselves in this series, trying to hold off and climb and get around Cole Raz, who leads off 2.
Holding off is certainly what Weaver's doing there. Just a half a groove above that line and just holding off Chris White right now.
Roberts trying to get to the blue line, but Bruce Weaver struggles to get to it. Off 4. He loses the bottom. One car jumps. A second one, and Casey Garber zips on the bottom. Camary joins as well in the choo-choo train. Weaver gets passed by Stephen O'Hare now in towards turns 1 and 2. Camary pushing up. 3 wide off the corner.
3 wide off the corner, in contact. There goes O'Hare. Other drivers trying to hold on. They somehow stay straight. Down into turn number 3. It's still a madhouse, even with our tri-cam.
Contact into turn number 3. Contact again now into turn 3 with Paulison and Bloom. Anderson fights his way now. Hare in front of him. Harris behind. All that going on now as they work across the dog leg. Back to turn number 1 and 2. Now Camary and Dan West Jr. have a teammate. Maverick, Goose. It's Jeff Stab now off the second turn.
Our camera showing all the great action as our main camera going to be showing the battling for 7th place, as that's actually going to be for 8th place. Camary, Jeff Stab now, then going to be in your top right, going to be that of the battle for 15th, as well as the battling for 20th, going to be on your bottom right.
Trouble. I think I saw a car spinning on the bottom of the 3rd camera.
Still green despite that trouble spot. Looks like things are stable for now. Jeff Stab now looks to try and stabilize his way in towards the top 7.
Doing a great job at it, trying to keep everyone stable at the moment, as all around this field, Jeff Stab now, he's in a little bit of a spot where he's feeling kind of comfortable, but he's got to reset and go attack mode if he wants an opportunity to crack that top 5.
I thought it was going to be Brian Barnes that got a little battle there for a second, but he got sideways and then he saves it. They work across the start-finish line. 3 different camera angles, 3 different battles going on. As this goes on, pick a battle there, Jeff. Samuel, they're working their way out of turn number 2. Dan Lowther now battles Garber.
And Lowther's looking strong, but Casey Garber as well. These drivers, fresh tires, they're trying to be patient here.
Into 3 and 4, Dan Lowther in main screen, trying to settle it on and calm on down. At the bottom, Gary Nichols looking to dodge a car, having to come in. That's Frank Harris, having to peel in. Harris over the incident mark as well, having to serve a penalty under green. All of this as well, they make their way out of turn 2 to fight it up for the lead.
Each lap that goes on by, the closer we get to lap 100, when it's going to be go time for the majority of these drivers. But at the same time, I'm looking at the fuel range. I'm getting concerned for our leader right now, Wesley, on if he's going to be able to make it from here on out.
Contact made between Brett Johnson and Toby Ritters. You saw it on the screen on the top right. They hold it together. Off the pace is Camary's car. Now that's Daggett's car. Brett Johnson on the bottom right now. Diddles with Ron Hunter. They're fighting in the grass. While also Moore and Breitzman battle off too.
All the different battles in the tri-cam to get a sense of it. The battling in your main camera. This is all for the top 3. That's all these drivers trying to get on top of one another. Dennis Moore, Breitzman, White, Casey Garber. They can't get away from one another.
Off down the front straightaway, Breitzman all over Dennis Moore to the inside into turn 1. Lap traffic to deal with as well. McDonald stays up top. Moore goes middle. Breitzman clears on by in the blue line. He's up to 2nd spot.
Still, Chris White, he's going to be the driver with the freshest of tires. Of Garber going to be following suit. Just trying to do a little bit of teamwork with the way that they're trying to go through this field. But Chris White's been so patient. Wesley, this 6, I'm surprised, but he's got to get moving here quickly here in just about 10 laps.
Chris White, the defending champion of the series, also driving from CWR Racing from a machine of a Ford, now in a Chevrolet. He is, of course, now driving a Toyota, if you will. The driver As contact's made just in the back. Kevin Smith had contact with another car. They save it, though, as they go to turn number 3. McDonald, Moore, all these cars working their way, battling there as they come off of turn 4 through lap traffic. 100 laps down, 34 laps to go here in Charlotte in round 10 Northwest Cup Series action. Into turn number 1 and 2. It's not done, Samuel, as triple digits are on the board and things are going to heat up again.
It's not done at all, but Cole Raz, Sean Breitzman, they're banking on the fact that they had enough pace laps to save fuel, and that's going to be on their minds. Chris White, he's in the good to make it to the end of this race.
Through 3 and 4, Breitzman continues to try and pull a bit of a cushion over White. White cradles the seam, loses ground from that cradle. Dennis Moore looks to pounce back down the front stretch. Top 5 separated 1.2 seconds. The top 9 within 2.3 seconds. All while Raz extends it out, while Anderson looks to jump his way back through the pack in 7.
Talked about freshest tires. It goes to that 37, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say we're coming up on the top of the hour. 33 laps to go now as the field settles in. Look at Caden Anderson, Dan West Jr., all these guys battle. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We're going to pause for 10 seconds of network identification for radio. You're not going to miss anything if you're watching side by side. And then we come back to the checkered flag at Charlotte.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
And now that the FCC legalities are out of the way, we welcome you back. Samuel Dyer is down on the back straightaway off turn 2. Justin Prince here with you. I'm Wesley Outlet. We welcome you to the finish. 32 laps to go. This battle goes on. White and Breitzman, Anderson and Garber heating up out of turn number 2.
Caden Anderson, 37. He was our leader before he decided to come into pit road and gave up the lead. He actually went all the way back to last place to go watch a replay. He's now got the freshest tires and on the move.
Into the inside, looking to find a way back around Breitzman. He does. Anderson on the bottom, up to 3rd. Now in the back bumper of White, looking for 2nd. He pushes up to the middle through the second part of the quad oval. In through turn 1, over top the tunnel. Anderson looking to use the ramp of the bank and in turn 2 exit. Side by side off 2.
It's nice when you got fresh rubber and you can just make any lane work, and that is what Caden Anderson's doing to the outside. Now going to be trying to make the move through 3 and 4.
Chris White trying to reel in that interval, but he did not look on the outside and see Caden Anderson coming. Super Friends has reeled back in, got around defending champion Chris White. Happy birthday, Jamie. You better go now in that Toyota, because now Anderson and Raz, 1 and 2, Samuel, as they work off of turn 2, you got to think what might be going through the mind from the last time they got together.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference, though, is they were on the same set of tires. This go around, it's all about hoping it stays green for Anderson.
Through 3 and 4, Anderson right there on the jump. Raz looks to hold on to the bottom. Anderson with the draft. Up at the flag stand, 28 laps to go. Anderson waits, goes up to the middle line again. It worked to get by Chris White. A little bit lower this time. He's got better acceleration off 2.
He's got to be right on that back bumper now in the entry of turn 3. Caden Anderson, he can make the push. Instead of going down below, he just follows behind Raz.
Anderson looking up on the outside lane, nothing there. He'll reel back in and close in on that draft air of the machine of Raz. Super Friends going at it, as our colleague Justin calls them. One from Lake Oswego, Oregon. The other one from Yakima, Washington. Nothing there. They're not 2x2 yet, but soon they will be. 27 to go. Anderson looking for a move off 2.
And Anderson, I mean, he might be feeling just a little bit of awesome, just stay lingered behind, not even trying to pressure. And that might be the thing here, Justin. Anderson's not even trying to pressure at all.
Might be thinking big picture, looking to save. Will this continue out though? Raz a little bobble up. Anderson no poke yet. They have a cushion of 8/10 in the next car behind it. Chris White into turn 1. Traffic is ahead. 22nd place, Brian Barnes. Anderson starting to show his cards though, off 2.
Anderson's looking good, but touching on fuel. Cole Raz going to be about 10 laps shy from making it, unless he's found a magical way to save that fuel.
Got to find a way to look for a late race caution. His fingers are crossed also, possibly, Samuel, as they work off turn 4. Brian Barnes, by the way, onto the pit lane, the points leader. While that goes on, the lead continues, 1 and 2. White losing ground to those cars. It's Cole Raz, half a car length on Anderson. Super Friends going at it off turn 2.
And also going to be Chris Camary into pit road. He was one of those drivers that decided to stay out, just like Cole Raz, just indicating they know they can't make it. They got to come to pit road.
And not only that, both of them have reached the point of a triggerable black flag. Under green, that is disastrous for both of them. Camary and Barnes serving their penalties, as meanwhile the leaders pass by him down the front stretch. And
Especially for the driver of Mr. Brian Barnes, Samuel, the points leader. But meanwhile, we watch this battle, under 25 to go off turn 2.
And down into the back stretch, it's all that of Raz and Anderson. But closing in just slowly is Chris White. Just each and every lap that they stay patient.
White trying to take advantage of this over-patience, some may say. Will this pay out? Long run, though. White within 7/10 of the battle for the lead still. Brightsman about a half a second behind him. Through 1 and 2 once more. 22.5 laps to go.
And right now, I'm looking at the way that these tires are looking like. Caden Anderson has the advantage over everyone else. He's just playing a little bit of a possum. He's just waiting and lingering until Raz has to come to pit road.
And all the while, you think of that strategy. He's right up under the back of the door. The battle's for the lead. But now you got to keep an eye on Chris White. Could he be conserving? Could he be thinking these guys might get together? There might be some aggressiveness. They might know Raz has the pit. Samuel, that's what they're betting on. So they kind of back away as they approach 22 to go here out of turn 2. As almost Garber got loose as he battles with Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow for turn 3.
Yeah, and these are all drivers that have already had issues throughout the night. They've used their fast repairs, and Dan West Jr. has been Mr. Aggressive, and he certainly is going to try his best here to get aggressive on that of Casey Garber. As also, watch out for Jeff Stabnow, going to be coming with some speed.
All this is down into turn 1 this time. Dan West Jr. zips by Garber. Stabnow says thank you for the help. Dan West Jr. overshoots the corner off 2.
Just give him another opportunity. Jeff Stabnow wants to crack into the top 5.
He wants a shot at it now as they work it at turn number 3. These 3 cars fight it out here. Jeff Stabnow, he's won at Charlotte. He knows this track very, very well. His teammate, DWJ, Dan West Jr., 2-time Truck Series champion. 1 win this year. Some bad luck for 55. Now tonight, he's back in the dance. Garber, Dennis Moore, those 5 cars go at it again for position. 20 to go off 2.
The eyes keep on looking at the board of when drivers have to come into pit road. Currently in front 2, they stay stable. And now, single filing out is this 5th, 6th, and 7th battle.
Well, it stayed that way for now. Stabnow trying to use a bit of a ramp. Closing in on West Jr. All while Anderson waits on behind. Keep in mind, the last time they were side by side, it ended with Raz being sent up into the outside wall off 2. Anderson might be considering that as he waits behind the 10.
Continues to wait and linger. This is kind of giving shades of how the first about 30 laps of this race went, Wesley, of just Cole Raz, Caden Anderson following one another and pulling away from the rest of the field.
And monkey see, monkey do is again that monkey wrench number 10 entry is going to have to pit eventually. We're aware of that. There's no way possible the Chevrolet number 10 of Cole Raz can go the distance. I think Super Friends Anderson knows that as we go triple screen. Teammates of LSRTV CRN, Jeff Stabnow, Dan West Jr. There's also the drivers of Troy Daggett, Ron Hunter, bottom, back straightaway, pick a battle.
Yeah, the battle for the lead is your main camera. The battle for that of 4th place is in your top right. Bottom right, going to be the battle for 17th, Troy Daggett and Ron Hunter.
That battle for 4th getting over aggressive. West Jr. backed by Stabnow. Stabnow dances his way over the edge of 4. Down the front stretch. Moore looks to take advantage with a bit of a pull. All while the leaders, Show Anderson looking again for a run, can't get it.
Also, updates of drivers coming into pit road. That of Dan Lowther could not stretch it any further. 63 has to come into pit road as all the battles continue to rage on. It's that top right one, though. Dennis Moore getting high heavy with that as Jeff Stabnow.
This is not pick a penny, any penny. It's pick a battle, any battle. It's Raz and Anderson. They're the battle for the lead. Up on the big screen, on the top right, you've got the battle going on for 4th, 5th, and 6th with Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., of course, Stabnow and Garber, and now another battle heated into the top 20. A couple of cars that have had some bad luck along the way. That's, of course, the driver of Troy Daggett, Ron Hunter. All of this is going on now as they work off of turn number 2.
And this is getting dangerous for that top right camera. Jeff Stabnow, Dennis Moore, they've almost made contact about 2 or 3 different times. Moore finally able to clear the 24. That was getting hectic for themselves for that battle, and the battle for the lead. They continue to stay single file out for now.
Gonna be very busy. All these drivers still 14 and a half to go. Back to you, Sam.
I mean, the big thing right now that we keep our eye on, Cole Raz. Yes, he saved enough fuel with the 2 cautions that he decided to stay out for, Wesley.
That's right. They work their way back across the start-finish line off of turn 4. We watch on the big screen, and now on board with the driver, it's Anderson trying to close in on Raz, but we're knowing he's got a pit. The question is, when does he peel off? And is he making aware that he peels off so he doesn't have any contact or cause Anderson to run up under the back end of his car? Well, that goes on. It's still Stabnow and Moore going at it up too.
They continue to just battle back and forth for those battles all around the corner. And the battle for 17th now was looking good for a quick moment. I mean, excuse me, that for 16th. But Troy Daggett, he's running clean for himself.
Oh, wow, down the front straight away. The lines are getting very much higher up the track from Raz and Anderson. Going from peeling to the bottom to all over the circuit. Meanwhile, Bruce Weaver has had to enter the pit lane for a black flag.
Just so many incident points for a lot of these drivers. They have to come in, and the penalties just overwhelming for them.
Bad luck for some of these guys. A lot of heavy contenders now having some issues along the way. They're coming to the line. It is 12 laps to go, but they cross the start-finish line. It's Anderson now waiting patiently on Cole Raz, Chris White, Sean Reitzman, Dan West Jr., the top 5 off turn 2.
And also a little bit of other drivers that had to come to pit road. Gary Nichols going to be giving up a couple of positions for himself. But for our leaders, 12 laps to go. And for Cole Raz, he could be coming up real shy there, just in about that of 4 to 5 laps. It's when we're going to really see that question mark.
Real big moment for Stabnow, seen upper right corner on LSRTV feed. Stabnow got some help around in front of Sam. Chap Stabnow instead, he's been bumped down to 10th as a result. The leader still single file, 11 to go.
I mean, Jeff Stabnow's luck just has not been here tonight. Been involved in a couple of incidences, still hasn't used the fast repair, and now for that 24, he's going to have to hope that he stays in the top 10.
Is there some type of inclination maybe that Raz could possibly go to the finish? He is working his way off turn 4. 10 laps to go. If he needs to pit, Samuel, he needs to pit now, but it looks like he shows no signs of stopping as Anderson is waiting patiently also off 2.
Well, the big thing for Cole Raz is the fact that he had two pace laps, 2 cautions to try to save fuel during this time. That might help him for a couple of more laps, but he's now coming up to our window that we expected if we stayed green. He's got to hope that he's saved at least 4 to 5 extra laps.
Those pace laps absolutely helping Raz in this situation with 9 laps to go. Anderson still trying to find different ways to get a poke around, to find a way to get side by side. No dice yet. Both of them the blue line this time off 2.
And then for me, I'm just curious for Kane Anderson. If he's just waiting on Cole Raz going to pit road, why not just make the pass now? He's just being so patient. Might be thinking about giving a little bit of a gimme after taking out Cole earlier in the race.
And that's what makes me think about that scenario, Samuel, and also if possibly Raz has enough to go the distance, or could he possibly thread the needle? He already has 2 wins on the year. If he wins this race tonight, he'll join Lake Peterson with 3 wins. And Caden Anderson looking for another win. He doesn't have a truck win as they go into turn number 3, Justin Prince.
And the major thing I've noticed, Raz is more comfortable and cleaner off 3. Anderson trying that second line to use that banking as a ramp, hasn't been able to make it execute yet. A bit of a checkup this time as Raz danced his way off the corner, now into turn 1 again. Over top the tunnel, Anderson trying to find some clean air to the front nose. Lots of traffic ahead for the backstretch and soon.
And really, right now over the radio, starting to hear other drivers potentially thinking pit stops might be the thing. There's a lot of question marks on fuel now, Wesley.
Many people are hoping for a late race caution flag. You've got to think that to put them back in the catbird seat. Many drivers might be giving up position if they run out of fuel, or if they literally give up all of the position gains earned because of making a mistake on fuel strategy. We're watching Raz, we're watching Anderson, and there's lap traffic in the mist. They're coming to 6 to go to the backstretch.
I mean, Justin, right now, Cole Raz, he has to save fuel, and he has to, at this point, he's got to go 70 laps on this one stint.
Anyone else would have zipped on by him 20 laps ago. But his friend in Anderson waits on behind. High five from Barney this time. Heavy traffic ahead. 3-lap cars move to the middle of the top line. Anderson moves to the middle. The battle to find some clean air important as Anderson tries to diamond off the corner.
Trying to maximize the speed, figure out where you want to place yourself as we're riding on board with the 10. Just seeing the traffic ahead. Where do you want to place yourself? And you hate these moments, Wesley.
On board with Cole Raz, 3-lap cars in front of him, and the master behind him of his super friend, Caden Anderson. They work through the dog leg. 5, now they get 4 laps to go. You want to go, you better go now. He starts trying to clear through lap traffic to open up that interval distance from him to Anderson out of 2.
That's 1 out of 3 down. The next is going to be McDonald, who's going to probably stay high as he's been doing. And we've ridden still on Raz down into turn 3.
No poke yet from Anderson. He had the chance, elected to check up again. 1 more lap car to battle with than Gary Nichols. 3 to go at the stripe. Raz picks up the draft for the 8. Anderson goes tire to tire matching. Going higher for the arc, looking to the bottom. They zip by Nichols, clear traffic ahead.
It's all now into the unknown. This is past where we thought the drivers could push it the furthest. And for Cole Raz, he's got to hope that he saved at least 3 laps, if not just 2.5 at this point.
He better make that move, and he better make it now. This might be one of the biggest fuel gambles we have seen all season, or possibly in the history of the Northwest Series. But he gets a little wiggle. Anderson might be getting impatient. 2 to go as they cross the start-finish line. Back to turn 1. Anderson trying to hold off Raz. Raz trying to go 70-plus laps on a fuel run out of turn number 2.
You can hear the blipping in the engine when we were riding on board with Raz there, just trying to not get too tight to throw this race away and go into the wall. That's another factor for these drivers to watch out for.
To take the white flag, the race is to the checker. If they get a yellow from this point, it goes to OT. No yellow in hand. White flag up at the stand. CRN 1 to go. Anderson, no poke yet. Setting things up through 1 and 2. He goes high and deep to the 3rd line. Tries to get around Raz on the high side up 2.
Caden Anderson, he was waiting this whole entire time for this one opportunity. White flag, side by side down the backstretch.
Back straightaway, Raz will go to the inside, Anderson to the outside. They are battling side by side into turn number 3. Side by side out of turn 4. Here they come to the dog leg. They're going to make contact. They're going to bump. They're going to bang. Raz will pull away to the inside. He'll hold off Anderson and go 70-plus miles on a fuel strategy to win here tonight at Charlotte. 3rd win of the year for the driver, tied now with Lake Peterson. Super friends battling to the end, and Caden Anderson, Samuel Dyer, will celebrate as runner-up to his friend Cole Raz.
I mean, it was certainly a showmanship. They put on a show for us as Caden Anderson threw it to the outside, thought he was going to get the win. Once the bump happened, there was nothing else that he could do.
Justin, it doesn't get any better than that. Those two drivers might have hiccuped with each other earlier in the race. They respected each other down to the finish here to the checkered flag, and Cole Raz wins his 3rd race of the year.
Cole Raz set things up really well. If that was another driver, we would have seen, I think, a lot more bumping in that situation. Good respect shown from Anderson, especially after that hard hit earlier between them. But it looks like the welcome party to victory lane for Raz is here. They're ready to try and send him to the moon.
And my apologies. Actually, this will be the second win this year for Cole Raz in the number 10 machine. Caden Anderson already has it 2 wins, so he ties with Caden Anderson. Still, Lake Peterson has 3 wins. I apologize, Samuel. Let's be honest here. When it comes to the Northwest Cup in trucks, it has been, besides Lake Peterson, Cole Raz and Caden Anderson racking up wins.
Yeah, I mean, the win side for sure over here in the Cup side of things. And that Caden Anderson Racing team, they just show off their talent week in and week out. And they did it once more, top to bottom. It was all Cole Raz, Caden Anderson. And for Cole Raz, he goes coast to coast, got the pole, and gets the win.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have weather in my area. We have weather in Charles' area. Our producer at the LSRTV Rocket Media Production Truck in Texas. So we're going to knock this out very quickly. Here is your unofficial results. Raz is the winner. Caden Anderson is second. As cars are celebrating, careening into the wall in turn 2, I think that was Troy Daggett. Sean Brightsman is 4th. Dan West Jr. 5th. Dennis Moore 6th. Kevin Smith is 7th. Casey Duncan, Casey Garber, Jeff Stabnow, the top 10, Justin.
11th spot tonight went to Briar Reynolds. Stephen O'Hare, 12th position. Ryan Bloom, 13th. 14th with the Toby Ritters. Runs the top 5 at 1 point in the late stages. Stephen Paulson, 15th. Troy Daggett, Ron Hunter, the last of the lead lap cars. Dan Lowther, Frank Harris, Brett Johnson, 1 lap down apiece. Of note, Johnson's situation after the bobble was required damage repair, Samuel. That's why he had to come down late.
Yeah, giving up all that time and positioning. Gary Nichols going to get that 21st position with that of Chris Camari in 22nd. That of Vinnie McDonald going to get 23rd with Brian Barnes. Going to be taking that 24th position for our points leader. We'll see if he has the points lead after tonight with Dana Rogers in 25th. That of Tyler Kim in 26th. That of Bruce Lee Weaver in 27th. John Otbacher in 28th. That of Tristan Woods in 29th, and Robert Gamble going to be in 30th. The last of the drivers going to be BJ Tidrick, that of Alex Duba, as well as that of James Vining, as well as that of BJ Duvall, Aaron Cooper, Bryce Beatty, and Carl Burke, your 37 drivers here tonight.
37 drivers taking the green flag, and for a final caution race summary of this event here tonight as Charlotte, for round 10 of the Northwest Series, it was 8 caution flags, 32 caution laps of 134 laps in total. So 132 laps were under the green, or 102 laps were under the green flag. Lead changes only 5. Coming up, finish line post-race wrap-up. It will be quick as weather is in the area, and we will be right back to do it here. This is iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. Super Friends, Anderson, Raz, battle. They made contact earlier in the race. They wrecked each other, or at least Anderson did. He had to fight claw his way back, even decided to give up the lead to come into the pits and look at a replay, and then got involved in a caution. Rallies back down his teammate, settles for second as Cole Raz gets his 2nd win of the year. We'll talk to them next. Welcome back. It's time for the finish line post-race wrap-up. We'll talk about the top 3 here and wrap it up in Charlotte. Get you ready for next week, by the way, before the Memorial Day break at Texas Motor Speedway. Don't forget the trucks are there on Thursday, Cup next Monday. And we'll talk to Chris White, 2-time and defending series champ, or the defending series champion. Chris White, 1 win on the year. He also has finally put himself in a new car, the Toyota Are you happy with the car, Chris? You're settling in? Third place tonight. Getting better, it looks like.
Yeah, Wesley, we switched the manufacturer, jumped into Toyota. We've had some ups and downs all season, and certainly good to get a third place finish here tonight. Strong car, just didn't really have too much on the long run. As you can see, tires really matter here, and it looked like Caden had a fresher set of tires, just caught me, blew past me, and had a chance to go up there and battle for the win. So it's nice to finish third, get a top 3 podium finish.
And it's been a battle of the season for you. You mentioned the manufacturer change to start things off, going from Ford to Toyota, multiple different paint scheme iterations, going from inspiration from Brad Keselowski to Ryan Vargas, back towards a mixture of Brad Keselowski as well for tonight. More so Mark Martin, per se. What's been that battle like to try and learn this car compared to last year where it seemed you were dialed in with the Gen 6 era?
I don't know. I think what it comes down to is lack of seat time, lack of practice. I don't get too much time outside of race days to get in here and do some testing. So I think that's where it lies. If I could do that, I certainly think I could perform a little better on race weekends or race days rather. But the time will come. I think I got a good enough skill set to be able to get up there and win and run. But certainly hard. When the wins come, they're definitely hard to get. But when they come, they're great. And but we'll keep battling week in and week out. We'll keep battling and see what we can do. These guys are tough to race with, and it's certainly a lot of fun out here.
All right, Chris, let's see if you got the golden pipes, buddy. Let's see if you can put a tune together for your 14-year-old daughter, Jamie. No, I'm just messing. What do you want to say to Jamie? And that's the wrap job on your car. And Segway, thank your sponsors, and happy 14th birthday to her.
I appreciate that, Wesley. First of all, it's her 14th birthday today, actually. We just celebrated her birthday just a little bit before a race started. And she's had a good time, and certainly a great kid, straight A's, top of the charts on everything, no issues whatsoever. Happy 14th birthday to her. Great kid, love her to death. And CWR, Toyota, number 6. And thank you guys, LSRTV, certainly for everything you guys do. Great broadcast. I think they were actually watching this race in the living room. They wanted to see this car on the big screen, so we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, thank you guys, and congrats to Cole for winning, and we'll see you Thursday night.
Chris White will settle for the number 3 spot. And again, a big happy birthday from everybody on the live Sim Racing CRN broadcast crew to Jamie. That was why the car was wrapped up for the number 6 of our defending series champion. Runner-up is Caden Anderson, driver of the car number 37 of the Yakima, Washington for KAD Motorsports. And he, of course, already has 2 wins on the year. By the way, they've updated the points, and it is 3rd win of the season for Cole Raz. For some reason, they're still trying to say Aaron Cooper won Daytona. They've got to fix that before the playoffs, but it is the 3rd win for Cole Raz. But Caden Anderson, your take of this race, wild night at Charlotte. You and your friend get together, y'all wreck each other, or at least you get wrecked, or he gets wrecked. You survive. You come to the pits. There was a kind of a strategy there. I don't know what went on. You said you were looking at a replay of something that happened on the track, and then you had to fight from the back to get back to the front. Take us through your journey real quickly, and you finished 2nd.
I feel like me and Cole had probably the top 2 cars tonight. We just found a good rhythm and were able to stay out front and qualify up front to lead in majority of the race. Fortunately, we got together there, and I take responsibility for that. So that was my bad. And then when I was looking at my replay, my crew was sealing me up with fuel, and it somehow made me a lot faster than I expected. So it turned out all right. We ended up P2 and P1 as a team.
And for the Super Friends, it's been an incredible campaign. When you combine the victories between yourself, Cole Raz, you also throw Lake Peterson into that mix as well. All 3 of you have won all but 2 of the races so far. What is that like as a camp to know that you're all in sync to the point where the speed is right up from the get-go whenever you 3 are or whenever all of you are racing together?
Yeah, I feel like me, Cole, Lake, and we throw Ken Garber, Briar Reynolds in there, even Justin E. So I feel like we've all kind of gotten into a rhythm and worked really well together to be able to bring this group together and run really well.
All right, Kaden, we got to get off here quick because weather's in the area, man. But before we do let you go, thank your sponsors, and we'll see you for the truck race on Thursday at Texas.
Yeah, I want to thank Harvest Chevrolet and Studio 10 Reps.
Driver to Yakima, Washington, of course, Mr. Caden Anderson will battle back from an accident earlier in the race and finish in the number 2 position. This driver got involved in an accident. You heard Caden Anderson mention it. He was able to rally, come back, then stretch a 70-plus lap fuel run to the checkered flag to now pick up again officially his 3rd win of the season in 10 races. And Cole Raz, you also are the new points leader by 17 points over Sean Brightsman. Brian Barnes had a bad night. He fell back 2 spots as the leader of this race to now 18 points back in 3rd. Cole, congratulations to you in victory lane again.
Thank you, Wesley. I'm interested to see when our 3rd win there gets put in the books from Daytona, how big that points lead is. But, up and down night, led a lot of laps, but I just got to thank Caden for cutting me a break there at the end. We got into it, and, that's going to happen, with just how close we are and with these fixed setups, both of us like to push each other to our max, and, we were having a lot of fun. And just tonight's setup was so tight, it was so hard to run side by side, and it was just, a product of the racing, and luckily to have both of us battle back and have a 1-2 finish is very nice.
We've asked about in the past about keeping the cool heads prevailing in the Super Friends whenever they've clashed, but as well, the major thing too, you mentioned the tightness of the car in terms of trying to battle that tire wear in particular. Where you try and sort things out such as that, what's that preparation to make sure you know what to expect to try and avoid that pushing mark, especially since you had to push 71 laps to get to the end?
Yeah, it's a huge balance. Clean air was so important, so it was a real fine line of pushing too hard and getting behind. Once you fall back in that 2nd or 3rd spot, it was just so hard to get around somebody. As I mentioned, that's kind of the reason Caden and I got into one another. And he's so dang good at these 1.5 mile places and anywhere we go. But I've learned a lot from him at these kind of places and how to save tires. And I'm sure when we go to Texas, I'll be having my doors blown off by him.
Got one more question. Segue into 2. Thank your sponsors in closing, Cole. Strategy of going 70-plus laps to the finish. Those 2 or 3 cautions before that green flag stretch to the finish at 48 laps to go, was that enough to save fuel? And secondly, if it would have been somebody else besides Super Friends, Caden Anderson or Lake Peterson per se, would there be possibly a lot more aggressive bumping, banging, or even trying to, battle as hard as you could to try to win this race?
Yeah, I think so. You know your friends, and you bring them to the racetrack with you, is the old saying. And we're not here to make any friends, and I enjoy the series, but we're all here to win and compete at the highest level we can. But the strategy there for myself was not really one we had planned. After getting into it with Caden, I came down pit road, and we put a lot of wear on the tires after we wrecked, and I just thought might as well come get tires, fill up, and came back down pit road again to fill up. And we were plenty good on fuel, and was really surprised on the fuel run we had for how long we could go, I should say. And ended up playing into our favor. But big thank you, Caden Anderson Racing, Caden Anderson Designs, Wells Johnson Master Wrench, LSRTV, everyone that helps put this on. And we'll move on to Thursday night.
And as Justin said, it seems like week after week in Cup and Truck in the Northwest, whether it is Lake Peterson, Cole Raz again, or Caden Anderson, we talked to them in Victory Lane, and now the 3rd win ties with his teammate of Super Friends, Lake Peterson, here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Next week, it is on to Texas Motor Speedway before we have a break for Memorial Day. That's 220 miles, 147 laps. And remember, the trucks are up in action this upcoming Thursday night. Samuel Dyer and myself will be on the call. Well, Justin, your final take of things here. By the way, another crazy race, another crazy point standings now, and it's only fitting. Brian Barnes has a bad night. Some of that good luck lated continued, but not tonight. He falls back to 3rd, and Cole Raz is up at the top.
And that's just the ebb and flows of the season, right? Where if you want to be able to contend for the championship, you need to be able to master a variety of different racetracks. And for Brian Barnes, things have started to sputter a little bit momentum-wise. It really fell off a cliff tonight with the luck he had this evening, especially with the black flags under green flag conditions for the incident points. But this is to be expected with some of the top drivers in terms of wins trying to rally their way forward in those standings. Now it's time for drivers like Raz, Brightsman, Anderson, West Jr., and as well you could throw in Lake Peterson to shine when it comes to the point standing side of the card.
Had a fun time. And Lake Peterson, again, 3 wins along with Raz, and he is not running that much. Only 7 out of the 10 races ran completed, but he is still 7th in the point standings. Somebody we keep an eye on as well. We wrap it up here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, thanks to Samuel Dyer for covering the action on the back straightaway. And of always, our broadcast crew for Live Sim Racing, Rocket Media in the production truck. Mr. Of course, thanks to Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow. For Justin Prince, I'm Wesley Outlet.